Well, it's always a fantastic noise, isn't it, to hear around this stadium. Completely packed tonight. The first of 4 home games, plus 4 away, which could lead to the World Cup in 2026 in North America. It's been sport all the way on Radio Wales since 2 o'clock. A reminder earlier, Wales narrowly beaten 24-21 by Scotland in their opening game of the Women's Six Nations. We'll hear from the new coach, Sean Lynn, at half-time. The URC Rugby Ospreys held on to beat Connaught. There was a 13th consecutive league defeat for Dragons, meanwhile, at home to Ulster. A win in the football for Wrexham, but defeat for Newport County. We will round up all of today's main stories at half-time in the opening bout of this 2026 World Cup qualifying campaign. We are ready to go, live on BBC Radio Wales and BBC TV, right throughout over the next 8 months. Will this journey take us to the biggest stage of all? Let's join your commentary team of Helen Ward and Nathan Blake, the former Wales strikers, alongside Mark Poyser.
Thank you, Ian. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to the Cardiff City Stadium after 6 thoroughly enjoyable Nations League matches under Craig Bellamy. This feels like the intensity is just up a notch or two. It feels like the serious stuff really has started. We are on the road potentially to another World Cup, and for so many of these players the motivation is to right the wrongs of Qatar in 2022. And what a sight this is. 2 teams either side of the halfway line in huddles. Wales go into theirs now, Kazakhstan in blue doing likewise, and everywhere else you look is a sea of red. The replica shirts, the bucket hats, there are fans in both tiers in the Ninian stand across them as and all around, apart from one tiny little pocket of sky blue in the corner to our right-hand side. Wales are overwhelming favourites on this mild, clear night in the Welsh capital. But football is very rarely predictable. Kazakhstan have come to spoil the party, and they are going to start us off. They are all in blue, having made the incredibly long journey just to be here. And they start us off going from right to left, so kicking towards the Canton stand. We are underway in the first of 8 World Cup qualifiers, bringing you live here on BBC Radio Wales. Kazakhstan attack straight away down the far right, but the ball is kicked against the attacker and behind for a Wales goal kick. If you are just tuning into us, we've played 25 seconds. This is the Wales team. Darlow in goal, Roberts, Roden, Davis and Williams, Sheehan and Thomas, James, Cullen and Brooks, and Brennan Johnson. We're all second-guessing how the midfield would line up. It's Roberts who gallops forward on the near right side for Wales before he gives it away. And the lone striker, Zach Silikov, takes the ball over the halfway line, but out of play for a Wales throw. And I think out of everyone, I think Nathan Blake, you got the closest. Sheehan, the sitter, and everyone else going for it.
Yeah, good evening, Mark. Good evening, everybody. It'll be really interesting the way this pans out. Just looking across the line here, defensive line of Kazakhstan. Seem to have 5 players in that defensive line, and then another 4 sat in front of them with a lone striker. So it's going to be incredibly difficult to break down this sort of system very early. But yeah, what Wales have got is a very offensive sort of midfield and front line. We're able to, you know, not play as sort of midfielders or strikers. They can move around, they can rotate. So I'll be really interested to see how Wales cope with such a deep-lying defensive line. It's going to be difficult to break down, so they'll have to be patient.
Goal kick to Kazakhstan. The keeper is in short sleeves and all in white. All of their starting lineup, apart from 2, play their club football in Kazakhstan, 2 in Russia. And this is Volkarovski of Astana. And That is the venue for this return fixture in September. We have played 2 minutes. It is 0-0. Eventless and chanceless, but as Nathan Blake was saying, it is a back five, a midfield four, and one lone striker for Kazakhstan, who are playing under their interim manager Ali Aliyev. And that's given away and passed straight out of play by the visitors for a Wales throw, which they take quickly. This is the first meeting between the two men's side. However, the women have met on 6 occasions. And Helen Ward, it was pretty much the same equation, with Kazakhstan defending deep and the women in red having to try and do what the men are trying to do tonight and find a way through.
Yeah, we seem to have gone for a period of coming up against them in the women's game quite often, certainly in my latter years playing, and it is their job is to come and frustrate and to try and hold their own and keep a clean sheet or something as close to it, and it can make life difficult. But as Nathan said, the rotations amongst the front players, the front 6 probably of Wales, maybe even more, you probably add the fullbacks into that as well, and leave Joe Roden and Ben Davies to do the majority of cleaning up if they need to. But those movements, those finding little spaces, not letting Kazakhstan settle into a shape as much as possible, that's going to be the order of the day.
Sheehan's given the ball away, and Kazakhstan come forward to the edge of the penalty area. A shot is blocked, it's still inside the penalty area, it's hooked over the bar for a corner. And Kazakhstan win the first corner of the game, 0-0 after 4 minutes, but that wasn't in the script.
Yeah, they showed their intent though, Mark, straight off the kickoff. They got forward. I think people were expecting them to sit back and play the ball around. They didn't. They clearly come here with an intention of trying to beat Wales with a counter-attack style game. And right now they're doing well to frustrate. Early days, but you know, showing what they're capable of. No mugs, let's be fair.
Outswinger from the far right, it's headed clear by Wales. It's back into the penalty area. Thomas just hacks it into the dark Cardiff air, and it's head tennis inside the Wales half. Still inside the first 5 minutes here on BBC Radio Wales before the ball breaks to Kazakhstan, and they attack towards the Canton stand to the left, and they want a foul there, but they're not going to get it. Chesnikov was bundled over, and it's the first touch, it feels like, for Brennan Johnson, and he wins a throw on the halfway line. Just a few little nervy moments in the early going for Wales, all in red with the green trim down the sides of the shorts and the shirt, and this is Dan James attacking to the edge of the penalty area, direct into the box. It's stabbed clear by that wall of blue. And the first show of intent for Craig Bellamy's side, and he's down there kicking every ball, as we know he does. And Wales are going to get a throw inside the Kazakhstan half. Yeah,
I think that's where Wales get their joy, is wide. Both players got pace. Dan James obviously can catch pigeons on this right-hand side. He's just got to beat that fullback and do as he done there, just get balls into the box.
I quite like him on the right, actually.
I do.
I think too often he cuts back.
Yeah.
He beats his player on the left, and then he comes back because he wants to cross it with his right, whereas he can be so much more direct, as you say, and he can get those balls in earlier, which is where the Kazakhstan defence might be a little bit more unsettled or facing their own goal, and you open up a few more opportunities that way. So I'm pleased to see him on this right-hand side, actually. Yeah,
getting to that byline makes all the difference.
As soon as Wales give the ball away, as they did there, Kazakhstan in the blue shirts spring forward. They're towards the edge of the penalty area once again. Exak Silikov, the lone striker, still inside the Wales half. And Kazakhstan have the ball. The score at 0-0, approaching 6.5 minutes in Cardiff on opening night on the road to the 2026 World Cup. The Reds against the Blues, and it's the Blues attacking before Roberts clears against the fullback Volkarovski, and it is a Wales goal kick. Kazakhstan failed to score a single goal in the autumn in the Nations League, their first in League B. 1 draw and 5 defeats. They were relegated back. Wales, as we know, Group B4 winners, and that offers a incredibly likely prospect of the backup of at least a playoff place. Only the group winners go through direct. The runners-up go into the playoffs. And this is Brooks laying it off for Johnson, midway in the Kazakhstan half. It comes to James in front of us. He's not able to control the ball. And Kazakhstan can clear upfield, but only as far as the bearded Sheehan, who spins a full 360 to evade the challenges. And now Nico Williams will just turn and go back towards the halfway line. Thinks he was fouled, but the Lithuanian referee allows play to continue. Here's James once more, and he might win a corner. In fact, he's kept it in, and now he does win a corner.
Yeah, it wasn't the best ball to Dan James from Connor Roberts, but picking up that little space just inside in the midfield, really, Connor Roberts. That's where we're going to get some joy in unfamiliar positions for the Kazakhstan defence to deal with. Finds Dan James, but he played it sort of too hard into his feet. He needed it out in front of him, I think, but James has done well to win the corner for his team.
Wales' first set play of the night. Dan James is stood ready for a short one, but Brooks, the number 10, is going to kill this. He's fooled us all. He's gone short to Roberts on the corner of the penalty area. Back to James on this near side. And they tied themselves in knots. Have they won it back? It's James with a shot. It's simple! It's in! It took a huge deflection, maybe two, but Dan James has given Wales the perfect start in World Cup qualifying. What a season he's having for Leeds. And what a night he's having so far. 9 minutes gone, and Wales have broken through. 1-0.
Yeah, it's a good start for Wales, but let's be fair, the Kazakhstan defence will be really disappointed with that. Just got caught out trying to play. You know, it's a simple back heel mistake by Brooks, and then Wales is just too sharp for him. Players wanted too many touches in the box, gets robbed, and before you know it, the ball ricochets, falls into Dan James's sort of path, and it's not a great strike. I think it takes a slight deflection, but Wales find themselves one goal to the good.
Yeah, what I like about that is, yeah, David Brooks maybe doesn't make the best decision going for the back heel, but the players don't switch off. They're straight onto it. Both Dan James and I think it was Liam Cullen in the end that wins the ball back, falls to Dan James, and he puts it in the back of the net. Yeah, it wasn't that clean, but a fit and a confident Dan James is a force to be reckoned with in this Wales shirt. As you said, he's flying for Leeds at the moment, and you can see that in his play. He wants to get on the ball, he wants to be direct, and he wants to be making an impact for his team, and he's certainly done that. I think the start of the game's been a little bit scrappy from Wales, but Kazakhstan do look to be trying to play and sometimes overplaying, and that may be, as we've seen, where Wales will get some more of their joy. It won't be from slow build-up play, but actually winning the ball back and then catching them out of position. And if Kazakhstan want to keep playing up, you know, out from the back in their own half, then I think Wales will be happy with that to try and win it and cause problems higher up the pitch.
All that talk about patience and staying with it. They've broken through early, and Craig Bellamy literally leapt into the sky as that one hit the net via a big deflection from the defender Malachikin, and Wales lead by 1-0. Yeah, Craig Bellamy had a dream last night about how this game, he wanted it to go. An early goal would have been right at the top of his wish list, Nathan. Yeah,
that's what you want though, Mark. You know, it's Wales pushing the Kazakhstan defence and midfield back right onto the edge of their box, in that moment in their box, but then, you know, not allowing them to counter-attack, not allowing them to get out and play out from the back, you know, put the pressure on, be sharp, be switched on. And in fairness, Liam Cullen, very sharp, blocks a little sort of pass, and like I said, just dropped into the path of Dan James. So great start for Wales.
They lead by 1-0. You are listening to BBC Radio Wales. We're also live on the BBC Sounds app. If you download that to your smartphone or tablet, you can take us out and about whatever you're doing this evening. We're also on 5 Live Sports Extra as well. And Wales have scored early, and they lead Kazakhstan by 1-0, and they are now camped in the Kazakhstan half. It might break through for James once more, but Boroznikskaya clears the fullback only as far as Thomas on the opposite side of the field. Edge of the penalty, it's crossed in, and an audacious hook from James trying to find Johnson in the box, and it nearly paid off. But the ball is now in the arms of the goalkeeper Zaretsky. who was completely bamboozled by that deflection in front of him. And this near sellout crowd is enjoying what they've seen in the opening 12 minutes.
Yeah, and it's, you know, the way Wales are set up, like I said, I think it's different in the sense that Craig has anticipated what the opponent's going to do, and then he's counteracted that with a very attack sort of minded formation, and he's just relying on that one sitting midfielder in Sheehan, who really and truly is up against a striker and has got 3 defenders covering him. So as you can see, Connor Robs' positioning now, he's playing more as a midfielder than anything else.
Almost with a chance to cross by the corner flag. Brennan Johnson with just half a chance. He went with the outside of the right boot. It takes a deflection, and Wales get another corner.
That would have been some finish if he'd have pulled that off, to be fair. Some technique was tried, but again, Wales mixing it up, a little ball over the top this time, not trying to play it all on the floor. Sorba Thomas a bit more comfortable using his left foot than Dan James would be out there, and Brennan Johnson doing what forwards do and peeling into a space. But yeah, difficult one to pull off, but again, shows the confidence of him for even taking it on.
They're going to go short, it looks like, with this one from the far left. The referee's hurrying them along in yellow. Sorba Thomas is claiming that the Kazakhstan player is not 10 yards. They do go short. They go back to Brooks, who curls it in high. Rodin's header over the crossbar. That was one from the training ground, which definitely went to plan. It's a goal kick, and Wales still lead by 1-0.
Yeah, it's that variation you need. You know, when you're Kazakhstan, you've got so many players back, but Wales keep varying their play like that, catching them off guard, catching them by surprise. They'll have a really good night.
And also this Wales side, we spoke about it last game, they're not the biggest in terms of height. You've got Joe Rodon and Brennan Johnson probably, who's maybe not that prolific in the air. They're probably the tallest. The rest aren't that big, so you do have to be a bit more creative and a bit more clever, particularly with your set pieces. And I think that's been a theme throughout Craig Bellamy's reign so far, is varying up the set plays, and they've come close on a number of occasions to scoring from them. Because of that variation and changing it up, it keeps the opposition on their toes.
Ambitious crossfield pass while Helen Ward was talking there. Goes out for a Wales throw. The on-rushing fullback almost got there. Already today in Wales's qualifying group, Liechtenstein 0, North Macedonia 3. Wales and the BBC Radio Wales team will be going to Skopje for that match on Tuesday. We are live from 7 o'clock. There's a Kazakhstan player down here by the corner flag holding his face. The referee stopped the game. No hint of a free kick. He is saying there was an elbow. The referee essentially telling him to get up. And Wales have got a throw midway inside their own half on that far left in front of the double-decker Ninian stand, which is packed to the rafters tonight, as Wales begin what they will hope is a journey towards the 2026 World Cup. The first to be played in 3 different countries, the United States, Canada and Mexico. And this is Davis, the captain, up towards the halfway line. We've played 15 minutes. Kazakhstan, despite having conceded early, have reverted back to that low block. 2 different walls of blue for Wales to try and break down. But the pressure is off thanks to that early Dan James goal. Oh, here he is, playing it inside and getting it back from Roberts. And can only loop it into the arms of the goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's obviously by design. I like what Connor Robs is doing. Like I said, he's playing more of a midfielder, and he's making that run inside Dan James, sort of towards a striker, which is forcing Wodogowski to sort of track him into sort of the central area, and that's then leaving Dan James wide open. So if they can just keep that going, as you see Connor Robs now, he's in that central midfield, sort of inside right position. Going between the 2 defenders is creating a real problem for some of the defenders.
You are listening to BBC Radio Wales. The game is also live on BBC One Wales, every World Cup qualifier on BBC Wales TV and radio. Your team for Welsh sport. This is Nico Williams, finds Brooks. Lovely turn just away from the centre circle, and he's away. But it was a heavy touch, having done the hard work. But a bit of eye-catching skill, nevertheless, from Wales's number 10, and Craig Bellamy applauds high above his head at what the Bournemouth man was capable of doing there.
Lovely bit of Jack and Jill.
Yeah,
that
was lovely.
That was lovely.
Such a shame about the heavy touch.
Yeah.
I love your turn of phrase, Jack and Jill. I love it.
Yeah, it's just so... Listen, sometimes I'm just so engaged in the game. I just talk football talk, dressing room talk, pitch talk. I do apologise. Skill.
That's 50p in the jargon jar, and we've only played 17 minutes of the first match. It's going to be a long campaign, I think. Wales lead 1-0. Those are the voices of the two former Wales strikers, Nathan Blake and Helen Ward, this evening. This is Brooks again to James, the goal scorer. Up towards the edge of the penalty area. He's taking them all on. Into the box he goes. Big shout for a penalty. The referee waves his finger in the air like James is a naughty schoolboy and tells him to get up. They seem to have a decent shout for that. The boos around the Cardiff City Stadium will tell you what the fans think. Wales have it again with Brennan Johnson. And this is James. We'll get the thoughts of Nathan and Helen in just a moment. The attack is still not over. Roberts into Johnson to Brooks before the challenge comes in from Nurali Alep. And Kazakhstan can clear. We are waiting to see a replay of that. I won't put you on the spot, either of you, until we get to see a replay. That looked like it was a decent shout for Wales. This is, meantime, Sorba Thomas on the other side, the far left. He goes around the outside and crosses. James almost climbs highest at the back post. It'll be kept in on this near right by Roberts. The ball's on the corner of the Kazakhstan penalty area. All the blue shirts behind the ball, as Wales sense blood already. Only 19 minutes gone. James again, hugging this near touchline. It's walking pace from Wales at the moment, and they're just peppering the penalty area, waiting for their moment. It might come now, as Brooks plays it in for Johnson. It's cleared. It still won't go out of play. Roden. Kazakhstan haven't touched the ball in a meaningful way in a long time. Now they get it. As Cullen battles to win it back, and there's the free kick. Are they going to show us?
Well, that's what I'm waiting for, because here we go.
Here we go. Take it away, Nathan and Helen.
Yeah, it's a great run. He drives into the box, and I don't know if he catches him, even on the replay. Let's see.
It might even be outside.
Yeah, I don't think he catches him, but I think he's blocking his run. So I think it's Alep who goes to ground.
But also, if he doesn't jump, I don't know where down James goes.
Yeah.
It's one of those. It's not a dive.
Yeah.
But is it a penalty? I don't know. On first viewing, I thought it was a good shout, but yeah, it's a hard
I thought
one.
it would have been soft first viewing.
Yeah.
So, and we're strikers, right?
Yeah.
So
I'll always say it's a penalty. To be
yeah, me, to be fair. I'd be screaming, I'd be chasing the ref if that was me.
But the speed in which Dan James then got up after it wasn't given suggests that maybe he knows he wasn't caught.
What I do like is that dynamic sort of driving from this right-hand side. Dan is going, wide right down to the touchline. He's also coming inside and then cutting back out, which gives him the opportunity to shoot all across the ball.
Yeah, I think him and Connor Roberts are linking up quite nicely, considering they don't often play on the same side together.
Yeah.
They seem to know what each other wants or where they're going. And I think we've seen a couple of nice touches from David Brooks too. Not quite found that killer pass yet, but showing glimpses of what we know he can do.
They're looking for James in behind with a long ball from Williams. It's just got too much on it.
Seems to have really matured in the last 12 months, Dan James. Brilliant for Leeds he's been this season. Just seems to be playing with no sort of pressure, knows what he's capable of, and just delivers more often than not.
And he's finishing chances that he sometimes would have almost fluffed his lines, the one-on-ones. As a Watford fan, I saw him sort of destroy us not too long ago at Vicarage Road, and he finds himself in positions where sometimes in the past he had too long to think and he'd hit it at the goalkeeper or not hit the target, but he just looked so composed and full of confidence, and obviously from a Welsh point of view that's great to see, because then he's going to bring it into the games that we see, you know, in the qualifiers.
Yeah, I think I've seen that. Didn't he drive one quite high in the net against Watford?
He did, yeah. I think he scored a couple actually that night.
Yeah.
Part of me was celebrating the fact it was Dan James, but a big part of me was a little bit disappointed.
I went to Ellen Road and saw him destroy Cardiff at the start of February 7-0.
I was hoping you forgot about it.
Are you celebrating those goals as well because he was Welsh, Nathan? I take that as a no. It's 1-0 to Wales. We're past the midway point in the first half. Dan James with the goal. 10 Leeds goals this season. He's in the form of his life
That's
at
got
the
to be
moment.
close to his best, doesn't it, in a season?
I would have thought,
I'd imagine.
Yeah. Wales have this game already in the palm of their hand. Kazakhstan are not getting out of their own half. Wales are at walking pace when the defenders have the ball.
It'll be extremely difficult as well for Kazakhstan because of Ramadan, because the lack of sort of energy and foods to take on board. I would have thought we'll have a break for the players at some point, but it's later on in this game that will really play a part also. When you're not got possession at all, you're just chasing. It's really difficult to keep those energy levels up without, you know, the correct sort of foods and pre-match meals or what have you.
And psychologically as well. I mean, I don't know. I've obviously never been in the position where I've had to be in a period of fasting whilst playing football, but you almost convince yourself that you've got no energy because you're not able to have the same routines and the same nutrition that you used to. And especially if you're going 1-0 down early on, you kind of think, well, how am I going to get back into it? I haven't eaten in so long, or I haven't eaten the right things at the right times, and you know that can play on your mind as well, I'd imagine.
Well, yesterday the interim coach of Kazakhstan, Ali Aliyev, said all bar 2 of this squad are currently fasting because of Ramadan, which is why it's a topic that Nathan and Helen are discussing. Here's James racing towards the edge of the penalty area, just overruns it slightly and then loses his footing. Wales lead by 1-0.
So this plays right in the Wales' hands. They can't get out, Kazakhstan. Their striker is coming really deep in Samaradov. So he's 9 times out of 10, he's just 20 yards outside the 18-yard box. So when they do win the ball, there's nowhere to go. And Wales often have 5 or 6 players in attack. And those players, as soon as they lose the ball, they're switching on and really pressing and counter-pressing this Kazakhstan midfield and defence.
They've got the ball now and they'll cherish it. They've not had much of a breather in the last 10 minutes or so. And they are in fact over the halfway line on this near left in front of the 2 managers. It's drilled cross field over to the far right corner of the box before Williams gets the interception for Wales. He's able to turn back and Ben Davies is there to just hack it downfield. And the ball's already gone out of play for a throw. Already today we've had 1 international result. Wales narrowly edged out in the opening round of the Women's Six Nations, 24-21 in Scotland. Here come Kazakhstan into the Wales penalty, across towards the back post. There was a free man headed clear towards the edge of the penalty area. The danger is still not away, chipped high to the back post once more, and Roberts there to head behind, but he got a shove in the back as he did so, and he wins a free kick. That was a nervy couple of moments there.
Yeah, it was real good play by the midfielder. I think it was Samaradov. Just at the back post. If that had cleared, I think it was Rodon who got his head on it, or Davis. If that cleared him, and Chesnikov was free as a bird.
This is James, and Brooks is in. Great move. Dave Brooks into the penalty area, and he tried to square it to Thomas. And the defence got back in the nick of time. Wonderful first time pass from James, who's then won it back on the corner of the box once more. No respite for the Kazakhstan defenders. They get in the way somehow. Wales pouncing forward, going through the gears in a breakneck speed. Easy to say that perhaps he could have gone himself.
Yeah, no, he should have gone himself, Mark. I understand what he's doing, very unselfish play. but at the same time, a bit of ruthlessness. Maybe it's the sort of the fashion of this game where it's a bit easy for Wales. Why he didn't go himself?
Down the other end, it's Kazakhstan into the penalty area. Cross with the outside of the boot from Samaradov. They still have it on the edge of the Wales penalty area. Everyone in red is behind the ball. And they look for the outlet on the near side, who is Borogovski. It's off radar and behind for a Wales goal kick.
The worst part is it wasn't a difficult pass once he's made the decision to play it. Really good body feint from him to sell the defender. Doesn't touch the ball, but then he just doesn't get enough on the pass.
I think he goes with his wrong foot, H.
Yeah,
I think if he goes
possibly
with his right foot,
yeah,
he just bends it round the defender into the path of the striker. But I think by that little second body swerve to do the defender and then play it inside with his left foot gives the defender a chance to recover. Yeah,
and then as it breaks for Dan James after that, I think he could have taken an extra touch. He actually went too early with the cross and it gets cut out. But more promising play, and good to see Brennan Johnson being a platform. He sort of set up the move with a good first touch pass out to Dan James to set Dybrook through. But yeah, promising, but again, it's more of a counter-attack than a slow build-up and breaking them down.
Sheehan comes through, pinches it. Cullen thought he should have been fouled. The referee waves away the protest. And Kazakhstan sprint forward to the edge of the penalty area. Towed away by Roberts. They've still got it. It smacks against his face. Oh, it's a penalty! It's a handball against Colin Roberts, and Kazakhstan have got a penalty. Craig Bellamy is livid. And this is stunning, the Cardiff City Stadium. What a big moment.
Yeah, I thought it was straight away. Unless his left arm is tucked into his body, I thought he just slightly reacted. And the ball coming towards him. It was pretty close in distance, probably 10 yards, maybe 8 yards between them. But he turns his head. He turns his head away from the ball, which they always say.
Apologies if you heard any colourful language in the background.
Yeah, his left arm is out. Yeah, that's the problem.
I think the bigger question is whether there was a foul earlier on in the middle of the pitch on either Sheehan or Cullen. They both sort of looked as if there was going to be a foul given, but it wasn't. And then Kazakhstan have made the most of that.
Well, there is a VAR check ongoing here.
Yeah, they're not going to overturn that, I don't think.
Well, who knows these days with VAR?
Yeah, I mean, the way VAR goes, they hardly, change the referee's decision, and I don't think it's, it's a clear and obvious error. So I think they'll just go with the decision on field.
So we're
very unfortunate.
We're all in a bit of limbo here while we wait for the video assistant referee to make the decision. It was at point-blank range almost on Conor Roberts. His arm was, you could argue, not in that natural silhouette. And the longer it goes on without any news...
The problem is, Mark, as he's defending, he's just inside the box. As a Kazakhstan player is going to play the ball with his left foot, he's stretching his left leg, his left arm is out, and he's turning his head over to his right hand shoulder. So he's not even seeing the ball. And once the ball hits your hand there, some might say it's ball to hand, right? But once you're in the box and that is coming at you like that, and you block the cross with a hand, I would say he's going to give a pen. And
it's one of those, isn't it? It's the age-old argument of what is unnatural, because he's using it to balance. As you say, his left foot's out. He's only trying to balance.
Absolutely.
But we've got into this habit now that players are putting their arms behind their back, which is unnatural, really, if you're trying to stay on your feet. But that's where the game is now. And as you said, once it's given, there's no way it's being overturned. If it's not given, potentially they don't overturn that either. It's one of those that's sort of in that grey area.
Well, the check is over, and it's Ashkat Tajibergen, the number 8, who has the ball. The captain whistles from the Cardiff City Stadium. 31 minutes gone. This will silence this place. Behind that goal to the left, they're waving their arms. They've got the torches. It is Darlow against Tajibergen as Kazakhstan look to level this game. The referee's making sure everyone is outside the penalty area. He's taking an aid. And a big puff of the cheeks from the blue-shirted number 8. He comes forward now, right-footed. It's saved by Darlow, but it spins over the line. He got there with his knees, and then Hagen
the spin on the ball takes it over the line. Haven't quite seen a replay as to how close it was for anyone to recover, but yeah, an unfortunate set of circumstances for Wales, and they have to go again. And I mean, it's a poor penalty, really. He's not even had to stretch his leg to save it, but you'd be disappointed that he's not kept it out in the end, I think, Carl Darlow. But yeah, one of those, and that's the danger when you're in the ascendancy. The game is becoming a little bit of a stroll. These moments that they can turn the game on a sixpence, so they need to go again, try and get themselves ahead as quickly as possible, because Kazakhstan will be massively galvanised now.
Yeah, Ted Bigginson will be very, very relieved with that. I have to say, I think you said it was a poor penalty, Mark. I think I was giving it a bit too much credit. It's a terrible penalty. Like Helen said, well, Darlow dies, but just clipped his feet.
Here's Roberts for Wales as they try and restore the lead immediately. It's headed out for throw-in by the corner. I don't know if you saw on the replay there, Ali Aliyev, as it hit the legs of Darlow, turns and puts his hands to his head. He thought they'd miss. Yeah. So a member of his coaching staff said, oh,
it's gone in. Well, it didn't hit the back of the net, I don't think.
It literally was spinning, and as it crossed the whitewash, it just stopped dead in the in-goal area. That's how close it came to not being a goal. It's 1-1, and that wasn't in the script, and we've got 12 minutes left of the first half, and Wales have to go again. And now we talk about the patience that Craig Bellamy mentioned yesterday. Kazakhstan drop into every outfield player behind the ball and frustrate. They've got something to hang on to now.
Tadbirjan is the luckiest man in football tonight. I have to say, so fortunate to get away with that.
Well, this is James round the outside on the near right. It's out of play for a throw.
But as we were just speaking about Ramdan Moraviu, this will inspire the players. This gives them that extra little few percent, try and get through to half time, and then, you know, same again second half. The pattern of the game won't change. It's just whether or not Wales can step it up.
The ball's out for a Kazakhstan throw inside their own half.
It's taken the wind out of the sail in this stadium, hasn't it? It really has.
Yeah, lots of people going off to get their half-time burgers and pints by the looks of it. And it is, they've got to get themselves up again, and, you know, everything was going to plan. And then a moment, I was going to say that looked a foul throw. A moment of, you wouldn't call it madness, but unfortunate for Connor Roberts. But you've got to be more switched on and careful in these situations. And
it's harsh, isn't it? It's ridiculously harsh. But we see it so many times in this with VAR and the way the game is played today. You know, you turn your back on it, and that's an age-old thing, right? You get told from a 7 or 8-year-old, don't turn your back on the ball.
And to be fair to Connor, he doesn't often. He'd be one of the first to take one in the face, wouldn't he?
Well, like you say, his left foot is out, his left arm's out. Yeah. He is trying to block the cross, and I think he's just like making sure he doesn't get one in the dish. But in doing so, he's giving away a penalty, and that, like we say, very harsh. But we see it very regular in modern-day football. This ridiculous arms behind the back, I just don't get. But it's done by most defenders these days.
Kazakhstan have lost their last 8 successive away games. They haven't scored in their last 3 before tonight. That was their first goal on their travels since June of last year. And it's 1-1, and we're into the final 9 minutes of this first half. Can Wales break through again before the interval?
Yeah, I mean, it's not panic stations yet, is it? You know, they're still very much in control. You do look to the moments that David Brooks chance, and had that gone in, you know, the game was almost out of sight. But, you know, they've got to regroup and go again, and if it stays like this until half-time, then there'll be an important team talk for Craig Bellamy.
Yeah, and listen, they only need to win by a goal at the end of the day, right? So, you know, it might go down to goal difference, you don't know, you never know. But right now, the first thing, the most important thing is 3 points.
Wales tried to take a free kick quickly. It was a rolling ball. Now they get it wide to the near right. Dan James level with the edge of the penalty area. And not much in the way of support. Roberts is surrounded. He finds Brooks, but they're moving away from the Kazakhstan goal here. On a perfectly still Cardiff City Stadium. It's mild, dry, perfect evening for football. And it was all going so well. Wales ahead inside 9 minutes. But a penalty Kazakhstan are level. Here goes James again round the outside, hurdles the defender who just gets a toe in. He's able to race back to the corner flag to keep the ball in the possession of the red shirts. Wales going from left to right in this first half here on BBC Radio Wales. Sheehan again to James. He's always the outlet, and he's one-on-one with the fullback. Curling cross, begging for someone to attack. It went all the way through to Thomas, who hooks it into the box. Wales want a penalty of their own now. Brennan Johnson fouled. The referee couldn't have been better positioned, and the only complaint is from the crowd. No one on the pitch disagreeing with that decision.
Yeah,
Roberts meanwhile has the ball towards the edge of the box, and now Wales do have a free kick.
Yeah,
it's Connor Roberts who's fouled. Nathan.
Yeah, I just look at Marachkin and his reaction. He's just trying to be dominant, winning the ball there. I think Brennan Johnson is anticipating the challenge and is going down before he really gets touched. But yeah, that foul on Sheehan is, you can't argue with that.
The cross just before Brennan Johnson's had a little tumble from Dan James was an excellent one, and that's just where you think, what a key for more, be able to get on the end of that. It's where we're lacking that sort of out-and-out number 9 in Brennan Johnson. He does a good job in other ways, but of course he's not that focal centre forward, and it's a different type of game we've got to play. So those crosses are a little bit redundant when you haven't got the target of someone like a keeper in there.
Yeah.
Nathan Blake and Helen Ward, who've been begging to get on the end of that cross, I can tell you that for certain. 6 minutes left of normal time in this first half. This free kick is 5 or 6 yards outside the penalty area to the right of centre. It would favour the left foot of David Brooks. Nico Williams is there too. It's 1-1 between Wales and Kazakhstan. One arm in the air from Brooks. Referee is just checking something. Oh, there's a VAR check here for a potential red card, which is delaying the taking of this free kick.
Be nice if they let the crowd know that, though, wouldn't it? I know, again, it's something that we talk about so often, but the crowd have got no idea what we're waiting for.
Yeah, they're often the last ball, and he's done square in the air, and he's going to race away to the monitor.
Who's the red card for?
Which is on the other side of the field.
Is it for the challenge on Sheehan, or has something happened since that was given?
Well,
I don't know.
It surely can't be for the challenge on Sheehan, but, you know.
We've got a monitor and we don't know.
We haven't got it.
Here we go. We're seeing a replay of it now. It's Roberts, and it's the challenge. As Roberts passes the ball, it's the number 10 high on the knee. The number 10 is Maxim Samorodov.
I mean, I wouldn't say there's any. They say about intent and force.
It's right on the back of the knee of his standing leg. That is not a good angle we're just seeing there, which the referee is seeing over there in front of that double-decker Ninian stand. It was baying for a red now after that penalty.
Yeah,
all the Wales players have come for a drink and a team talk with Craig Bellamy.
Yeah, I can see it looks worse in slow motion, I think.
It does. I just don't.
I don't think he's gone with any intent.
Rather than a stamp or any force.
He's not gone with any force. He's not. You know when someone's, we know, don't we, when someone's trying to do something. I think it's just a lazy leg, lazy challenge.
It is, it's a forwards challenge, really, isn't it? If I'm honest, it's one of them. I'm going to look like I'm trying to do something, but I'm just, I'm making it look it. I don't, there's no force in it.
Well, here we go, he's walked away from the monitor.
I don't want to see a red card here in fairness.
The fact it's gone to the monitor suggests that it could well be, though,
And he's done it's a yellow card he's got in his hand. So he runs over now, the referee, who is Donatas Rumas, and he's looking for the number 10. And it's a yellow card for Maxim Samorodov.
I must admit, I didn't know you could produce a yellow off the back of a red VAR. I thought it was either a red or nothing. I didn't think yellows came into it, but he's done it now, so...
Well, it adds to the theatre, if nothing else. After all that, it's a yellow card.
Oh, yeah, it's a free kick as well. I forgot where we were.
Let's hope the goalkeeper takes up that same position right on his far post as he was before.
I think it was an uncontested drop ball or something.
Yeah, something like that, I don't know.
I'll tell you what, I'm sure they've creeped forward a yard or two. So we reset again.
I think they might have taken it inside a little bit, which would help, potentially.
So that was another delay for about 3 minutes. There's a 4-man Kazakhstan wall. Brooks with the left or Williams with the right. It's back heel to David Brooks, and he curls it high over the top corner. The goalkeeper didn't even dive, watched it all the way.
Yeah, I don't think he needed a touch, and I think he's gone the wrong side, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think he should be going up and over the wall without the touch. There's a big gap. The goalkeeper was a long way over at the start of that. He's just not quite found his range. He's had some nice touches, but his passing's been slightly off, and obviously that attempt there wasn't anywhere near the target. You know, he's still offering a lot to Wales at the moment, but he's just missing that final little bit to his game at the moment, David Brooks.
And that is the cue for a lot of supporters around this stadium to head for the exits and the concourses for a half-time refreshment. We've got 2 minutes left of normal time. I suspect there'll be a sizable chunk of added time after 2 VAR checks. It is Wales 1, Kazakhstan 1 in this first qualifier for the 2026 World Cup. We'll follow Wales to Macedonia on Tuesday. Craig Bellamy said all week, and in the squad announcement the week before, as the Kazakhstan player goes down off the ball trying to delay the Wales throw, which they take quickly, but they're not looking past this game. And here's Silver Thomas charging forward, tossed into the box looking for Brooks. It's parried towards James, and the keeper's able to leap at his feet and grab the ball in the nick of time.
Yeah, Zanutsky done well, you have to say. Good goalkeeping in the end. Real positive play by Wales down that left-hand side. There was a player down for Kazakhstan, but the referee just ignored him and played on. As I say, real positive play, good crossing. Zanutsky just grabbed it at the second attempt.
Yeah, David Brooks making a good run from deep, knew that Brendan Johnson had been involved higher up the pitch and couldn't get in there himself, and Dan James just a split second too late to get on the rebound, but that was good play.
This was Sheehan for Wales, who creeped towards the halfway line in the final moments of normal time in this first half. The fourth official down there in the maroon top has the board in his hands as Wales go over the top looking for James, and he's looking where the keeper is because he knew he was going to get clattered. Zarutsky gathers it, and only 4 minutes. And it remains 1-1. Borowski wriggles away from one, but then loses the ball, and Wales go back to Darlow in black. And this will be an interesting team talk for Craig Bellamy down beneath us in the bowels of this grandstand.
I think
1-1.
Going to have to move the ball quicker, Mark. And the joy they had for the first 20 minutes was getting the ball wide and getting crosses in.
They're not done yet, though. This is Roberts. Everything for Wales has been virtually down this near right. Kazakhstan have got back. And we've played nearly 1 of the 4 added minutes. Roberts again in space. James on the overlap, here he is. Level with the penalty spot, the cross is not the best. And Borowski is able to clear, but only high into the air, and a Kazakhstan player goes down again, holding his face. And this time the referee does give the visitors a free kick.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's much of that. But, the game has changed. I mean, I've played left wing for Cardiff City for many years, and you know, once the ball gets to you as a winger, I'm watching Dan, when the ball gets to you as a winger, when you're 1v1, I would say 9.5 times out of 10, if you know you work to get that position, then it's up to you as a winger to take the defender on. And Dan has skinned him so many times this evening, and I would just think, just keep going at him. He can't live with you. The
last 5 or 10 minutes, he seemed to be
just
reluctant to have done it.
Yeah.
Nearly 2 of the added 4 has gone, and it breaks for Kazakhstan on the edge of the penalty area, and the shot is from distance from Tapalov and comfortably saved in the end by Darlow, low down to his right-hand side. There's an audible gasp as it just broke for the fullback there, 20 yards from goal. Wales have the ball back, and we are in the final 2 minutes of stoppage time in this first half here on BBC Radio Wales. BBC Sounds and BBC Radio 5 Live Sports Extra. Another Kazakhstan player down. I suspect we'll see more of these antics in the second half as well, with a score to hang on to for those visitors. And another is Chesnakov. He's holding his left leg, and everyone inside this stadium looks mystified as to what on earth has happened to us.
Yeah, it just seemed to be in the challenge where Ben Davies has overrun the ball slightly, but didn't seem to be too much in it. And you know, the fact they've put it out of play, I have no idea really what happened there, but they put it out of play under a little bit of pressure from Wales. You kind of think they've got away with one there, especially if Wales give the ball back to them, as you expect they will. And as you said, it's going to be a bit of a theme, I think. As long as it stays level, they're going to take as much time out of the game as they can.
Wales started so fast, going ahead in the 9th minute, and then a VAR checked penalty for the captain Askat Tajibergen. Means Kazakhstan look like they're going to go in at half-time level pegging. So the player in question, Chesnakov, has gone off to that far side. The spray is still being applied over there. So for the final moments, Kazakhstan are down to 10 players. And they are the team with the ball, all in blue, kicking towards the Canton stand, and here they come. Now their extra man is back on now. Wales have got them well marshalled, they hope. They're still towards the edge of the penalty area, and now the high cross comes in really high towards the back post, and it needs Sorba Thomas to just knock it behind for a corner, which the assistant and the referee took an age to give. And it looks like Kazakhstan will have the last say in this first half, because the 4 minutes are up. And they're not in any hurry to take this corner. Tajibergen, the penalty scorer, is strolling across to take it over on that far right side. You can hear the boos underneath a big Cymru banner in the corner, as more and more blue seats appear in this crowd as people make their way onto the concourses. We're about to enter a 6th minute of added time in this first half. One arm in the air from the captain, an outswinger headed into the sky by Kazakhstan. It's back to the taker. He'd already made the run upfield, and Nico Williams will let that bobble out of play, and there is the half-time whistle. It is 1-1. Wales's players sprint down the tunnel. It was all going so well after the early breakthrough from Dan James, but that penalty by Tajibergen has given Craig Bellamy plenty to ponder at the interval. Kazakhstan are frustrating Wales, and at half-time it is Wales 1, Kazakhstan 1.
Well, who wants a straightforward victory against the lower-ranked team anyway? Oh, OK, all of us. It's not going to be that, though, is it, tonight? Interesting first half. Dan James, good start for Wales. His 8th Wales goal, his 11th goal of the season for club and country, but then that equaliser from the penalty spot. Kazakhstan's first goal in 7 competitive matches. They didn't score in any of their Nations League games, but then we also have those 2 big VAR checks as well. So a first half of real kind of gripping, unscripted drama, wasn't it? And, you know, Helen and Nath, we talked before the game about, ideally, I mean, it should be a straightforward Wales victory. We also talked about the need for patience amongst the players and the fans, and we're going to need patience.
Yeah, we certainly are. Hasn't gone to plan. It was for a good chunk of that first half, and then been a little bit rocked by that penalty decision and subsequent goals. So they need to regroup, need to find their focus again, and as Nathan said in commentary, move the ball quicker. Get Dan James back 1v1 with his full-back, who he's absolutely got the beating of tonight, and start doing the things that they did so well for the start of that game. And just looking at Joe Allen out there having a little warm-up on his own, I don't know if he may be an option to come in and just maybe start to control things in that midfield a bit more than we have been. But yeah, look, certainly not time to panic just yet, but Craig Bellamy won't be happy with how that half has unfolded, that's for sure. And You know, we spoke before game about not taking things for granted, not being complacent, and even at 1-0 up, you could think that the game's done and that Kazakhstan aren't going to come back into it, but football doesn't work like that, and you start getting lazy with 1 or 2 passes, 1 or 2 moments, and you get punished for it.
I was going to make the point you made as well, Helen, about the VAR checks and the crowd not having any idea what's going on. It would be good, wouldn't it, if they'd at least put something on the screens to say VAR check going on. We know that it's not like rugby, and they don't tend to feed through the fourth official or the VAR official's audio. But anyway, that's an aside, Nathan, isn't it? But just going back to the penalty and Connor Roberts with his arm coming out there, you know, just he's got a selfie as well. There's always somebody who wants a selfie with Nathan while he's live on the radio. But what should he have done? What could he have done differently with his body position? If it turned the other way, perhaps it might have hit his chest rather than his arm. I don't know what he can do with his arm in that kind of situation.
Well, it's like we said, it's extremely harsh, right? But we see defenders now with their arms behind their back, and they do say, you know, don't turn your head or don't turn your back. He's half turned to over his right shoulder, knowing that, you know, he's expecting the defender just to hit him with the ball. The attacker has hit him with the ball, but it's hit him in a part of the arm which, you know, in modern day football, it's probably 70 or 80%, probably higher, probably 90% given as a penalty. So I thought it was a penalty straight away, not because I'm thinking, oh, Connor's deliberately handballed it, but we see it, you know, every week, and, you know, the Championship, the Premier League, you know, British football, we see it every week. So there's always going to be a penalty for me. There's not much more he can do other than face the ball, put his hands behind his back, or, you know, put his hands between his groin area. Otherwise, you know, once your arm's splayed and the ball hits it, it's going to be a penalty.
Split second to react, that's the problem as well, isn't it? And Taki Bergen and the captain scoring just about, and then he does the new baby celebration. He tucks the ball under his shirt and puts a thumb in his mouth to suggest he's a new father. So it's a good night for him if he's ended up getting Kazakhstan a point. But anyway, 45 minutes still to come. Helen, what should they do then, Wales? I mean, how do they... You said Joe Allen's out there warming up. He's the first to start warming up. There's a load of subs out there now. Would you change it?
Probably not just yet. You know, there are some options. You look at the forward players, the likes of Kiefer Moore's the obvious one. Obviously, Ravi Matondo coming back into the squad. Potentially a Mark Harris who started the last game. There are options, but right now I think Craig will want to get a bit more out of that starting 11 for the next 5 or 10 minutes as a minimum. But they just need to go back to what they did at the start of the game. As I said, they need to move the ball quicker. They need to get the wingers 1v1, particularly Dan James, get him to go at his fullback again like he was at the start. He seemed a bit more reluctant towards the end of the half, and I'm not sure why. And I think the crosses, we've been getting some in, but they haven't been of the best quality. So a little bit of improvement there can do wonders. But keep moving, keep, you know, off the ball is as important as what you do on the ball, arguably more so. So yeah, just need to step it up a couple of gears, I think.
Okay, thank you very much, Nathan and Helen. For the moment then, back with you for the second half. 71% possession, by the way, for Wales, so they had plenty of the ball, but actually Kazakhstan more goal attempts, 5 to Wales's 4, and 2 of those on target. Earlier on, by the way, North Macedonia, who Wales face on Tuesday, getting their campaign off to a strong start away to Liechtenstein with a 3-0 victory. Second half commentary on the way then. You're with BBC Radio Wales, BBC Sounds and 5 Sports Extra. Let's just reflect on what we have heard or seen earlier on across BBC Wales. The game from Scotland earlier on Radio Wales, the opening match of the Women's Six Nations. Wales beaten by 3 points. Scotland edging another close encounter there in Edinburgh by 24 points to 21. So it wasn't the winning start that the new Wales head coach Sean Lynn was hoping for.
Yeah, look, the positives from that game was just the passion, the energy, everything about the girls. I asked for it, and they delivered on that front. The big message which I said to the girls was belief, and have that belief. And even the proudest part for me there was we still had that belief. We were still in the game when they went 12 points up, and Georgia got in the bin and then went into a red. Look, I'm super proud of this group, and only being with the group for 1 week, there's some real big steps we can be taking forward with it.
In terms of the rugby as well, if you wanted to improve things, what would you pick? There was over 30 missed tackles. Is that an element that you want to tighten up next week, or have to against someone like England?
Yeah, we're going to have to, definitely, you know, and full credit to Scotland. I thought first half they kept the ball really well. They were making some line breaks, and you are right, you know, that is something that we really need to be looking at moving forward if we want to be competitors up in that top of the table in the Six Nations, but especially moving into the World Cup. Our defence, the tackling side of it is something we've got to be looking at.
And more reaction and analysis on the BBC Sport Wales website. And up next for Wales, it's England in front of what's going to be a record crowd at the Principality Stadium a week today. The Grand Slam champions hosting Italy tomorrow. France won in Ireland earlier on today. In the United Rugby Championship, meanwhile, there was a 12-try thriller in Swansea as the Ospreys beat Connacht 43-40 to go 7th in the table and boost their playoff hopes. The Scarlets' hopes, meanwhile, of a top 8 finish were dented by a 29-17 defeat to Stormers in Llanelli, and also a 12th successive league defeat for Dragons. Not getting any better for them at the moment. They were beaten 34-30 by Ulster in Newport. Let's go back to the football then, and domestic matters. Wrexham are back up to second in League One. Jay Rodriguez's first goal for the club, seeing them beat Stockport County 1-0. Manager Phil Parkinson delighted with consecutive wins over promotion rivals.
Going to Wickham last week and winning 1-0 and then backing it up today, obviously both important wins, and 8 games to go, but it's given us a good platform. We've got a good chance, and I want us to seize the opportunity, and the lads obviously, you know, they've had a good week on the training pitch. We needed that week to re-energise everybody. We've now got another free week, which I think is important for us as we go into this final stretch of the season.
Well, in League Two, meanwhile, there was a 4th successive away defeat for Newport County. They were beaten 1-0 at Grimsby. Here's the disappointed county boss, Nelson Jardine.
Never a good feeling, but I think we've worked on a couple of things, and we've tidied up a couple of things when we play away. And today's game, yes, you know, I think we showed that we were hard to beat. I think for spells we defended well. First half, I think, you know, if there was goals happening, would have been for both teams first half, and then second half a little bit more even. But it's just, you know, frustrating, especially the way we've conceded the goal again.
So Newport still 16th in League Two, 16 points clear of the bottom 2. In the Cymru Premier, TNS, having already won a 17th Cymru Prem title, celebrated that by thrashing Cardiff Met 6-0 today, so no letting up from them, the champions. Flint, meanwhile, moving 7 points clear of Newtown in the bottom 2. They beat Barry by 3-2. Aberystwyth relegated last night, one of the founder members, of course, of the League of Wales back in 1992, and out of the top flight for the very first time in their history. And in the Women's Super League, Hayley Ladd got one over on Wales teammates Lily Woodham, Josie Green and Elise Hughes as Everton beat the bottom side Crystal Palace 3-0. Kerry Holland started for Liverpool, who lost 4-0 at Arsenal, who move within 5 points of the leaders Chelsea. Helen Ward, of course, a former Arsenal and Chelsea player. She's alongside us tonight, along with Nathan Blake, for this opening men's World Cup qualifier against Kazakhstan. 1-1 it is then. We've got a few minutes, I think, before the second half gets underway, and it's an important time, isn't it, Helen, for all of these internationals, these Wales internationals we talk about there in action in the Women's Super League at the moment. Important that they're getting game time ahead of the Nations League resuming, what is it, a week on Friday here against Denmark, and that's a big one.
Yeah, it's huge, and I think, you know, you mentioned Hayley Ladd there, making the move from Manchester United to Everton has been a stroke of genius from her, because she wasn't getting the game time we wanted her to have, but she's now playing in a good side, an emerging side in Everton at the moment, and she seems to be doing really well. And obviously having Lily Woodham and Josie Green and Elise Hughes on the opposite side of that one, but more and more players getting regular game time in the top division in the Women's Super League is only going to be a benefit to Wales. Of course, not all of them on the end of the results that they necessarily wanted, but to be getting that game time, to be keeping themselves sharp, that's all important for Wales come the summer.
We've had a defeat to Italy and a draw with Sweden. We've got Denmark to come, Helen, and then a trip to Sweden on the 8th. How hard are these next 2 double-header games going to be?
Yeah, they're all going to be difficult. You know, we're back in League A. That's where we want to be, and we found out just how tough that was last time around under Gemma Granger. But you know, the draw against Sweden was a fantastic result last time out in Wrexham, and you know they'll be going into these two games. They love playing here at the Cardiff City Stadium, and have got a result against Denmark in friendlies in the past as well. It, you know, didn't all go to plan in the Nations League against them last time, but they'll be confident. They're teams that Wales can get at and not be fearful of. So yeah, another couple of great games to be part of for all the players, and they'll be going out there to try and win their place on the plane.
Absolutely, and loads of Wales games to keep on coming, don't they? Both in the rugby, the Women's Six Nations, and the Women's Nations League campaign. Those games will be live on BBC Radio Wales as well. It is Denmark at home a week on Friday, and then away to Sweden on the 8th of April. So it's Wales 1, Kazakhstan 1 then in the opening Men's World Cup qualifier. Not really a half-time scoreline we might have thought we'd have, Nathan Blake. We might have thought, though, it would be goalless, because we've seen these games in the past prove to be difficult. We talked about Armenia, didn't we, a couple of years ago? That was tough. You know, we saw a game against Estonia, I think, a few years ago, another sort of qualifier that Wales really struggled to break Estonia down. It happens. Yeah, you said it. There aren't any easy games. Why would there be any more? Because these sides, they have to make life difficult.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. They have a way of playing which can frustrate you, and if you're not on it, you know, then you're going to struggle. Now, Wales started the game very well, but you mentioned the stat like 5 minutes ago saying that, you know, Kazakhstan had more shots than Wales had, which is really surprising, right? So the way the game started for Wales is the way they need to pick it up right from the get-go in the second half, and then carry that momentum right through the half, because, you know, Kazakhstan will get one or two counter-attack breaks, but Wales have shown that when they press really hard and high, when they lose the ball, you know, Kazakhstan aren't really good enough to play through it. So, you know, the goal has come from the penalty. Wales's goal has come, you would say, from a little bit of a press and a bit of luck, you would say. But this second half, I think Wales really need to step up the tempo of the passing and get the ball wide. They've got wingers who can really destroy the fullback, so utilise that as much as you can.
Well, it would be a disaster winning to draw, but it wouldn't be the result that this sellout Cardiff City Stadium crowd are hoping for. And of course, they've got to go to North Macedonia. Tricky looking tie on Tuesday Night Live on Radio Wales, and they were 3-0 winners today over Liechtenstein. Wales were back out first for the second half. No changes yet then. Same 11 has started the game, and Kazakhstan are out as well, all in blue. This year with Radio Wales, BBC Sounds and 5 Sports Extra, wherever you're listening, wherever you are tonight. Thank you for being with us. Back we go for the second half with Helen Ward, Nathan Blake and Mark Poyser.
Thank you, Ian. Welcome back once again to the Cardiff City Stadium, which is filling up with the red wall making their way out from the concourses and hurrying up the stairs. Wales are just about ready to restart the game. The referee blows his whistle in the yellow shirt, and a big roar from those that have taken their seats for the second half, which is now underway. Wales 1, Kazakhstan 1 here on BBC Radio Wales. Can Craig Bellamy's side find a way through again and give us the perfect start to qualifying for the 2026 World Cup? There is no changes to either side, so Wales once again all in red with this white and green trim, and they are now kicking towards that Canton stand, so right to left as we look at it. And they're in possession inside their own half at the moment, the two centre-backs, Roden and then the captain Davis. Nico Williams springs forward over the halfway line. Thomas scuttling forward the low-hung socks, and he evades one challenge. Into the penalty area they come, and it's knocked behind for a corner to Wales in the opening 60 seconds of the second half. A reminder of the two teams, well, certainly the Wales lineup when I get a moment. Craig Bellamy in the black coat, t-shirt and trousers, paces around, hands in pockets. I think the start of this second half has caught a lot of people out. They're still making their way to their seats, and it comes to the back post, and it's headed home by the captain, Ben Davis. The goalkeeper lost the flight of the ball, and a perfect start to the second half. Less than 90 seconds into it, Ben Davis restores Wales's lead.
Absolutely brilliant. Sorry.
I was just going to say it's exactly what Wales needed. you can say it's a fantastic corner by Sorba Thomas. The goalkeeper's lost it, but Ben Davies, he's been waiting for a moment like that for a while. He's had a couple of close calls in recent game, a couple of disallowed ones if I remember rightly, but he's got his moment there and it's come exactly at the right time for Wales tonight.
Yeah, brilliant finish, great ball in, great timing as well. And, just put everything was going over the line if you had to. Great header. The people in the posh seats, they missed the goal.
They're running back into their seats.
That could never be us, eh?
Never.
He couldn't miss in the end, could Ben Davies. He was only 3 yards out and he's winning the ball there. Whatever Craig Bellamy has said to his Wales players at half-time, it's still ringing in their ears. That was the definition of a fast start. Wales continue now to lead this game by 2 goals to 1, and we've not even played 2.5 minutes. They've won a throw and they've taken it quickly. Brooks to Roberts over on the far right. James is further behind and has the ball and gallops now towards the byline. Pulls it back, only finds the heel of a blue-shirted defender. And then Connor Roberts tries to watch it out for a throw and does.
Yeah, not mugging this referee, are you? It's very, I think it's Connor Roberts who is on his way down there. He's having a pop at the ref. He's trying to let it roll out and he's already going down, you see. That's really good refereeing, I have to say.
The referee's from Lithuania. And the throw-in goes back towards the halfway line. So Wales once again is Darlow in goal, Roberts, Roden, Davis and Williams, and then Sheehan, and a collection of people in front of him include Thomas, James, Cullen, Brooks, and the striker is Brennan Johnson. Wales 2, Kazakhstan 1. A dream start to both halves as the ball goes out of play for a Wales throw. It goes into the Wales bench. And they get the ball moving forward.
Yeah, it's important they keep this momentum now, Mark. It's exactly what we said. Pass the ball quickly, gain some momentum, second half, and carry it through.
The slip from the defender almost gave Wales a chance to pounce forward. And Kazakhstan have it all in blue. And Wales are just swallowing them up on the halfway line. Now Williams wins the ball. Wales thought they got the throw. It actually has gone the other way. And after that penalty equaliser and the long VAR check, really knocked the stuffing out of both the Wales team and the crowd. A goal, I think I timed that at 80 seconds after the restart, has got them singing again inside this stadium. This is Sheehan in the centre circle. You're listening to BBC Radio Wales on all our frequencies. If you download the BBC Sounds app to your smartphone or tablet, you can take us out and about whatever you're doing this Saturday night. We're on till 10 o'clock when Adam Walton takes over. As Roden has to race back, knocks it back to Darlow. Not the best of balls to the keeper in black, but the trim, the orange trim. He knocks it into the crowd in the lower part of that double-decker Ninian stand across from us.
Yeah, he's had very little to do, Darlow, but that's the correct decision there. Don't want to try and swing at it and slice it. Bring a bit of panic into the defence. Nice side foot out for a throw-on.
And they throw it to the line in front of that one thin, slender stripe of travelling supporters all the way from Kazakhstan. They are the world's largest landlocked country, Kazakhstan, surrounded by the likes of Russia, China, Uzbekistan. And right now they're surrounded by red shirts. Wales have started this second half at 100 miles an hour. The visitors have a throw inside the Wales half. James races out to win it. Kazakhstan keep coming forward. They've come a long way to the byline. It's a decent cross, at least it looked like it initially. Sails into the side netting for a goal kick, which Wales are keen to get the ball back into play. Tire out this Kazakhstan team, who are 81 places below them in those FIFA rankings. Roden with the strapping on the left hand, and walking pace once more from Wales. This is how it was in the first half. Wales scoring early and then being probing and patient. before that penalty really knocked the stuffing out of them. They've got to score again to just kill off any hopes of a sting in the tail.
Yeah, that's right, Mark. That's a great point. If Wales can get 2 goals to the good, then I think they'll go on and win it 4-5. But, you know, whilst the goal in it, Kazakhstan are going to get everything they've got. They're going to fight to the very end.
It's cleared, but only as far as Roden, who's encouraged to shoot. Thankfully, he turns it down from 50 yards out. Williams then recycles the ball for Wales to Thomas. He scurries down this near left. He wants a free kick. Craig Bellamy can't believe that one. And Kazakhstan go long diagonally. Conor Roberts heads it back across to Roden, which was the right decision, because Samarodov had anticipated he was going to nod it back to the goalkeeper. Eventually it's out of play on the opposite side to us here. And Kazakhstan have the ball. They are 2-1 behind on the scoreboard. But Wales have won it on the halfway line, and Thomas with a pass is just inches behind James. And Bellamy is leaping around down there in the technical area. It's given away again by Kazakhstan. This is Cullen in the centre circle. And there's no one to pass to. He goes backwards.
He should have got the Brennan Johnson. I know Brennan is a little frustrated there, but also Brennan needs to just check his run there. If he's not getting it on the first look up at the midfielders, just check your run and come back towards him.
Ben Davies has the ball now. He's the match winner at the moment, the Wales captain, scoring only his 3rd international goal. And now it's wide to the right. James, who started it off in the 9th minute. Exchanges passes with Roberts, but Kazakhstan are all so tightly packed in there. There is just no way through at the moment, but they have that 2-1 lead. And they go from side to side at the moment, trying to wait for the opening, trying to draw them out. It's once more on the right. It's Roberts to James, to Sheehan, and Roden, and Davis, who's the furthest Wales player back, and he's on the edge of the centre circle in the Kazakhstan half, in front of an expectant Cardiff City stand. They're all on their feet now as James goes through the gears into the penalty area. His cross is headed clear, but it's still inside the Kazakhstan half. Now Vorovsky can hack into the sky, and Roden's taken one in the face there. That did look like a stray arm. Referee waves play on. Roden gets straight back up. Brooks to Roberts, again on the right to James. Into Brooks, tries to spin. And the Kazakhstan defence have got that well marshalled.
I think they're missing Jordan James, you know. I think Jordan passes the ball forward probably more than any other central midfielder for Wales. And I think they're just missing that at the moment.
And James into the penalty area. That cross is disappointing. Jordan James is amongst the substitutes tonight. Danny Ward, Adam Davis, Chris Mepham, Cabango, Allen, Lawrence, Matondo, Kiefer Moore, Jay Da Silva, James, Mark Harris and Nathan Broadhead.
Yeah, Jordan James is out there having a little warm-up. I think it's alongside Mark Harris, is it? He did seem to be going through some more strenuous warm-ups than Harris a moment ago, but they're both sort of standing and watching, so I don't think anything is imminent necessarily, but perhaps they're the first two that Craig Bellamy might call on if things stay as they are.
I think that central striker as well, I'll be looking at more.
Kazakhstan are in behind over on the far left channel. Samarodov is spinning, they're up to the edge of the box, and then the shot from Muzikov, well, you don't need me to tell you where that's gone.
You need me to tell you that was a shot? It sounded like a chip pat. I thought he was clipping it wide.
Spotted someone in the crowd.
It's 2-1 to Wales. Ben Davies on the ball, restoring Wales's lead inside 80 seconds of the restart here on BBC Radio Wales. We're now 11 minutes into the second half. Wales go to North Macedonia on Tuesday. after they beat Liechtenstein 3-0 in Wales's group earlier today. This is Conor Roberts midway in the Kazakhstan half on the right. James and Brooks, they've worked it into the penalty area really nicely. Edge of the box, it's Cullen with a curling shot. High over the angle, but a great move nevertheless from Wales and applauded by Bellamy.
Yeah, he's got to do better there.
Yeah.
Good movement. David Brooks making that little run in the 10 channel.
He's got to put his nose over it right now.
Yeah. And whip it. Almost could go sort of laces across his body and whip it into the far corner.
Yeah.
But yeah, always. As soon as you're leaning back and you're using the inside of your foot, it's only going in one place.
It's the voices of Helen Ward and Nathan Blake here on BBC Radio Wales. Two former international strikers. And that's a foul given away by Sheehan, just over the halfway line. Kazakhstan will take any set play as they try and frustrate.
They may have a shingle.
They're not committing too many players forward at the moment. It's drilled cross field. And this is Sheznikov right in front of us on the near Kazakhstan right. Nice little back heel into the number 23's path. He's gone round the outside of Williams, and is he brought down? Oh, in mouth time, it's a corner. We've already had one penalty, and as he was diving in there was a gasp again from those around us in the bucket hats.
Yeah, it was a really good tackle. Great play, I have to say, by Chesnikov. Yeah, he's just got a toe on the ball. Great defending.
Had to get that right.
Yeah, good play though, all round. Just along the byline inside the 18-yard box. I'm thinking, second penalty.
Bergen to take the corner. Out swinger. It's a decent delivery, but flicked away by Roden. And then further cleared by Brooks. James had no right to get to that, but he did. But the defender recovered just about enough. And Kazakhstan are preparing their first change, by the way. As Wales pinch it and then give it away. The game's getting broken up a little bit. And Kazakhstan come forward with Samaradov. He's come a long way, and he's got blue-shirted runners in space. They're up to the edge of the Wales penalty area as the shot is deflected into the diving grasp of Darlow.
Yeah, really poor decision. Should have just clipped that. He had a runner in behind as well, in behind Nico Williams.
There are two Wales changes coming as well. And the two that Helen Ward spotted warming up are the two that are going to come on. Jordan James and Mark Harris. As we tick towards the hour mark here, with Wales ahead 2-1. It's not been as comfortable as we hoped it would be, and the start of qualifying for the 2026 World Cup every step of the way will be with the team here, both on BBC Radio Wales and on BBC Wales TV. We are your team for Welsh sport for this World Cup. Zhukov is going to come on for Kazakhstan, but the ball has not gone out of play, and Wales are camped in the Kazakhstan half. This is Nico Williams. It's back to Davis. Williams has gone down off the ball here, and the referee is going to stop the game, and there's going to be a yellow card for Chesnikov. And now we'll see the changes. He's going over to apologise, Chesnikov, to Williams. And it's Muzikov who comes off for Zhukov. So another player coming onto the field who plays their club football in Russia. And the Wales changes will be Jordan James and Mark Harris. It's going to be David Brooks for Jordan James. And Brennan Johnson for Mark Harris. What do you make of those changes, Nathan and Helen?
A little surprised that he's gone with Harris over the big man, to be honest with you. More, I can understand how Craig wants to play that sort of high tempo, a lot of pressing, but I think Kiefer Moore is, I think he's the best striker we have. So surprised not using him to play off. I always say, as a striker, you need some sort of platform to play off. It's difficult for us to, you know, be as fluid as some of the top nations, but we are getting there. It's something that we are learning. But Jordan James, I think I was a little surprised he didn't start, to be honest with you, because since coming into the Welsh squad, he's been fantastic.
Yeah, and I think just looking at that number 9 position, I'm not surprised that Brennan Johnson has come off. You know, he hasn't done anything wrong tonight, but it's just not natural to him, in my opinion, particularly in a game where you're trying to break them down and his back's going to be to goal. If it's a transitional game and you're playing more on the counter-attack, you can use his pace in behind, but there's no space in behind for him tonight. So he would have been better placed out on the wing, in my opinion, but Dan James and Sorba Thomas have had a positive impact, so there's probably not a place for him there at the moment. So I'm not surprised to see him come off, but as you said, I would have thought you might want a focal point to change it up a little bit with Kiefer Moore. But, you know, Mark Harris did OK last time he played and, you know, was involved in a lot of good things for Wales, so hopefully he can continue that tonight.
This is Williams. Craig Bellamy watches on, arms folded. 2-1 Wales continue to lead. If it stays this way, it won't quite be the emphatic start that everyone hoped for, but a win is a win. Wales could do with another goal just to make us all breathe a little easier. 63 minutes in the big, bold red letters standing out like a beacon on this dark night here at the Cardiff City Stadium. Already today, Wales's women have lost their opening Women's Six Nations match against Scotland. Wrexham have won in League One. Newport County have lost. Wales are winning. It's back to the slow, patient pace. Can't all be 100 miles an hour. Williams with a long raking pass, and Dan James has done ever so well to bring that under. Couldn't quite find a red-shirted teammate. Kazakhstan in the blue will attempt to clear, attempt to play their way out. It's a good turn, in fact, by the substitute Zukov. Sheehan stayed with him every step of the way. Wales think they've pinched it. Wales have pinched it. This is Jordan James to the edge of the box. Goes back out to the right. Sheehan just about helps it on to Roberts, and this is Dan James, corner of the box. Jordan James, what a save by the goalkeeper! And then it's pinball in the box, and hooked by Harris into the air and saved once more. But that initial save by Zarutsky, low down to his right, was sensational.
Yeah, I think 2 back-to-back marks, to be honest with you. Really patient build-up from Wales. Lovely little over, I think it was by Cullen. And Jordan James comes in, lovely side foot. And then it's, I'm not sure, but I see. It's Mark Harris with the second shot. Craig Bellamy remonstrating, wanting the handball, but nothing doing yet.
The ball's gone out and back in since, so there's no chance of VAR intervening now. It's Dan James, though. This crowd, the red wall, are sensing a third goal. James gets his own legs in a tangle, but he still races back. He's like the Energizer Bunny. And the Kazakhstan player eventually gets away from Dan James before it's pinched on the halfway line. And they've upped the tempo in the last few minutes here. Jordan James gets the ball stuck under his feet, eventually finds Thomas on the near left, cuts in field, back to Jordan James, who thought about a shot. Out to Sheehan, it was slightly behind him. Cullen somehow keeps it alive. Wales penning Kazakhstan in here in search of a third goal and a 2-goal cushion. Nico Williams drops the shoulder. James into the penalty area. Still Wales have it. Nico Williams into the box. He'll shoot. It's a fine save, but the whistle went a long time ago. It will be a Wales free kick on the edge of the box.
Jordan James is playing his way into the team again, I think, isn't he? He's come on and made a massive impact in the last few minutes, and Yeah, I think you're right. I think he probably should have started the game. He's got energy, his passing is crisp. You know, he just adds something, and as you said, he passes forward, which in a game like this is absolutely key.
And for us strikers, right, I said there's no better feeling from a midfielder that passes the ball forward. It sounds like not that big a deal, but the ball goes sideways wide all the time to the wide men, and you can get so frustrated as a striker.
Yeah, Brendan's probably sat there thinking, I wish I was on the pitch at the same time rather than being replaced by Jordan James.
But Brendan has to learn to come to the ball.
He does.
He needs to learn to come to the ball.
Well, this is a chance. Left of centre, and it can only be 2 yards or so outside the box. Cullen and Williams. We saw Nico Williams score from this type of position. The referee theatrically forcing the blue-shirted wall back. Cullen back heels to Nico Williams, round the corner, it's saved by the keeper. Pinball once more in the box, and it somehow comes out back to Nico Williams. We had a great view of that right behind it, and the keeper did really well. Williams wriggles away from one by the corner flag on the left, gets the cross in. It'll reach Dan James on the edge of the penalty area. So many red shirts queuing up. The shot from Sheehan is deflected, and it's a Wales corner.
Yeah, brilliant play again from Wales. Really penning this Kazakhstan team back. Nico Williams on his left-hand side. I don't know how, not the Riddler, I'm going to call him the Wriggler. I don't know how he gets out of some of these positions, I swear to God. Beautiful play again, and a great effort from the free kick.
He's been quite quiet today by his standards, though, hasn't he? I mean, in general, I think the left-hand side was underutilised in the first half in particular. But right at the start of the second half, we saw Sorba Thomas drive and win the corner that led to the goal. Nico Williams has come into it in the last 5 or 10 minutes, and there's such a threat down that side.
Thomas with the outswinging corner. There's a free man at the back post, who's Jordan James, and he lost sight of the ball, and it's who's got it there? Jordan James somehow comes up with it inside the penalty area, getting his own legs in a tangle.
The fans make me laugh, crying for everything at the moment, aren't they?
Clear slip, but a call for a penalty.
By the way, that's got to be the worst Batman villain ever, the Wriggler.
Well, you know, it all fits, doesn't it?
Have we got to throw into the Wriggler himself, Nico Williams?
I actually think there was a slight hesitation there for a VAR check. Surely that was not on the Jordan James fall in the area there.
I think it must have been, yeah.
Next time you're on the Feast of Football with
Wriggler.
Nico, make sure you tell him that, all right?
It's very apt. Very apt. He's having a really great season for Nottingham Forest as well, I have to say. It's been fantastic for them.
I think that's important as well, how so many of the players are playing first-team football now. Whereas if you go back
at a good level.
Yeah, 2 years ago, you know, we were starting games and we were saying, oh, we've got 5 players who have started for their clubs out of a squad of like 15, 20, you know. And now you can say most, if not all, are starting for their clubs and important players for their clubs.
Wales lead 2-1. Those are the voices of Nathan Blake and Helen Ward here on BBC Radio Wales. 20 minutes to go. There can be no mistakes in these final 20 if they want to get off to a perfect start. Rodin does well to draw the foul as Kazakhstan prepare perhaps some more changes under their interim manager Ali Aliyev. The previous incumbent Stanislav Chersikov resigned after just 6 matches in the Nations League. In fact, in the last 12 months, they've had 4 different men lead the team in the dugout.
Satpayev, is this the youngster?
Yes.
It is indeed.
16, 17.
And Wales coming to the penalty, looking for Cullen. They want a penalty. The referee again says he got the ball. Couldn't have been in a better position.
Yeah, no complaints from Cullen either.
So there's going to be 2 changes, Aimbatov and Satpayev. And I'll tell you a little bit more about him in just a moment.
He signed for Chelsea.
Satpayev made his international debut in the week and became Kazakhstan's youngest ever player at just 16 years old.
I think hasn't he signed for Chelsea? Did I read that somewhere? It's like a pre-contract.
He must have something then.
Yeah, well, I did see a bit about him. He's got 2 very good feet, good close ball control. He can play. The boy can play, definitely. Well, if you're 16 and you're starting, you know, you've got to have a bit about you, haven't you?
I mean, he looks young in the face, of course, but he doesn't look physically, physically too young, does he?
He's got that Rooney body.
Sort of, yeah, exactly what I was thinking. Low centre of gravity, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Which will stand him in very good stead.
Yeah.
Wales have the ball and have the lead. It's still 2-1 for all their dominance in this second half. They've not been able to add to their lead after the Ben Davies goal right at the start, but they might do now. It's in towards Cullen, who just hooks it forward. A tight angle and comfortably saved by the goalkeeper. 18 minutes now left here on BBC Radio Wales. And on BBC One Wales, they're off air at 10 o'clock, but they're actually staying on to what? Oh, it's cleared by the goalkeeper straight against Mark Harris. That could have gone anywhere. It goes to a defender. I was going to say they're staying on BBC One Wales on the iPlayer for a bit of extra time and analysis. If you want to watch that on the BBC iPlayer, Harris took that one somewhere in the midriff. He's still moving gingerly. The goalkeeper took a big risk there. And play continues with Wales still 2-1 ahead, and Harris slowly making his way back up to join the play. Kazakhstan drill it cross-field. Conor Roberts has been caught out, and they come to the edge of the penalty area. It's a good opportunity, in fact. The shot from Samarodov smacks the head of someone in red.
I think it's Roden screaming at his team to get up the pitch.
And they appeal for offside, and the flag does go up, and Roden, who led that appeal, applauds high over his head. Well, here they come then. The 16-year-old Dastan Satpayev is replaced Maxim Samarodov, and Zak Silikov is going to be replaced by Aimbatov. Satpayev, I'm reliably informed, has cost Chelsea £4 million. 16-year-old.
Euros. Yeah. €4 million, and I think he signs for them in about a year's time. Sign a pre-contract.
So any Chelsea fans in the crowd would be paying close attention to Dastan Satpayev. And we've now got 16 minutes left.
Yeah, I love watching these young players, though. 16 years old.
Fearless.
Yeah, I love it. Great scouting as well. A player's a player, regardless where he's from.
We're trying to pen the man in question, Satpayev, in towards the edge of his penalty area. He managed to evade a few challenges, and Kazakhstan have the ball, but they go back to their goalkeeper, Karutsky, who's made a couple of really good saves to keep them in it. And that's the important point. While it's 2-1, as the first half told us, they are still in the game. Wales want a third, and they might get it with James on the right. There's runners in the middle. He pulled it back, and Bellamy knows that was the wrong ball as the coach hops around the technical area, as he has done all game, really. He's an animated figure, is Craig Bellamy, all in black tonight. We're into the final quarter of an hour. You're listening to BBC Radio Wales and BBC Radio 5 Live Sports Extra. And if you download the BBC Sounds app to your smartphone or tablet, you can take these final 15 minutes or so with you wherever you're going on this Saturday night. We are on air until 10 o'clock. This is Jordan James. This is Sheehan into the box looking for Harris. He didn't quite make the right run, but it was a piercing pass from Jordan James.
It's the drop of the shoulder first, Mark. Sends the defender or the midfielder for fighting chips. Lovely little drop of the shoulder, and then a really good slip ball through to his striker. It's a dream to play with if you're a forward.
I think Alan Ward was right. He is making a point. Since he's come on, he's been at the heart of everything Wales have done. They continue to lead 2-1. Dan James and Ben Davis with the goals. Either side of a VAR-given penalty for Kazakhstan. That's given away by Roberts on the halfway line. And the side ranked 110th in the world are going into these closing stages. Still in the game, they will believe. Wales are keeping them back towards their own goalkeeper. Here he is in white. And they press high to try and pinch it high up the field. Kazakhstan in blue have it, but they're going backwards towards their own corner flag at the moment. On the far left side, there's absolutely no outlet. And it's won back by Roden. An attempted acrobatic heel by Sheehan is given away. And Chesnikov has just about stayed onside, right in front of us, which is the Kazakhstan right. Back towards defenders they go as they try and work themselves into a field position to give Wales something to think about. It's probably the longest they've had the ball for any sustained period on the whole night. Satpayev, well, he's quality. What a drop of the shoulder and change of pace over on the far left. That's caught the eye already from the 16-year-old. And he kills in the pass to the edge of the box. Thomas repels it and then has to slide in and does to get the tackle. It's coming back into that box. Roden just over him, but the header only loops up into Darlow's hands.
He looks all right already, doesn't he, the young boy? He's pacey. There was a moment earlier on where he's in a bit of a foot race with Joe Rodon, and he's quick off the mark, you have to say, but looks like he's tidy in possession as well.
Yeah, watching him, I said, he's two lovely feet. Can finish with them both, can dribble. Good close ball control, especially around that 18-yard box. As a forward or a striker, which I think is his natural position, you know, don't need much more, do you?
I can't say it's good. I don't think it's going to be too long before he's in this starting lineup as a non-negotiable for Kazakhstan.
Yeah, very much in that Aguero sort of shape, mould, and
yeah. You wonder with the youngsters, they sort of start, he looks in a wider position, but you can imagine as he gets older and a bit more experience, you put him a little bit more into the firing line through the middle of the pitch. Looks like he could be an ideal little number 10 or false 9, as you like to have them in teams these days. He looks like he's got some really strong attributes for sure.
We're about to enter the final 10 minutes, and Wales have the lead. But 2-1 is far slenderer than Craig Bellamy or any of the red wall that have packed inside this stadium would have hoped for. There is not many empty seats tonight. There's one small slither of Kazakhstan supporters as they chase the goalkeeper again, and this time he gets it away from Harris, but the pass under duress is out for a Wales throw over on the far right. Rabi Matondo has just been summoned from his warm-up. The red tracksuit top with the orange flashes goes off, and he's about to come on for his first cap under Craig Bellamy. Meantime, Roberts has the ball midway in the Kazakhstan half on the right. Ben Davis, whose goal right at the start of the second half at this moment is going to be the difference. It's going to be enough as it stands. Has it in the centre circle, gets it back from Roden. Final 10 minutes here on BBC Radio Wales. It's walking pace, and Davis and Roden have exchanged passes about 4 or 5 times there, as Matondo gets some very detailed instructions from the green-shirted coaching staff down beneath us. It's drilled cross-field for James right across from us, and he wriggles in. Can't find Cullen. Kazakhstan get it up. Satpayev with another eye-catching turn and a pass into space, and they'll gallop forward. Chesnikov in a foot race with Nico Williams, and the Forest man gets back in time. Satpayev already looks like a danger man, and that's sold short. by Robertson. They come forward, do the Kazakhstanis. Satpayev looking for the run on this near side of Tapalova. The blue shirts have flooded forward. 8 minutes left. It's curled into the Wales penalty and flicked towards goal and tamely into the arms of the keeper.
Thought there was a half chance for another handball there.
There are a few arms in the air from those in blue, weren't there?
Yeah.
The longer this game goes on, the more slender that lead is looking.
In fact, I think it might have been, that's why Joe Rodon's holding his face.
Yeah,
right?
it's the old
Never
trick,
played.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you remember years and years ago, Stephen Taylor doing that for Newcastle? That was one of the best ever.
He auditioned for Platoon that day, I think.
It's so funny.
The clearest handball ever, and he went down like there was a sniper on the roof. I remember it well. We've gone back early 2000. We're all showing our age there, aren't we? When we got a 16-year-old playing. I don't think he'd have been born when that happened. Sorry to make you all feel old. Play continues. Matondo waits to come on for Wales, and we're about to enter the final 7 minutes, still with Wales 2-1 ahead, as Williams wins it on the halfway line for the men in red. Well, it doesn't exactly gallop forward on the left side, but it comes forward nevertheless. The ball's under the sole of the boot of Jordan James. Wales happy to be patient. Wales happy to just have the ball. This is Cullen, midway in the Kazakhstan half. They're slowly but surely eking their way towards the edge of the Kazakhstan penalty area. James is hounded all the way, but hounded backwards by Vorovsky, who stuck to him like glue, or at least attempted to, for all of these 83.5 minutes.
It's too static. Not enough movement ahead of the ball.
And yet again we're seeing Ben Davies and Joe Rodon pass to each other, and then they give it away. Satpayev up against Davies. Good tackle by the Wales skipper. But Satpayev's back up on his feet and back with the ball. They're up to the edge of the box before the clearance is made by Williams. This is Bristrov. Taplova on this near side. High swinging cross. There's no one in blue there, but it'll go all the way across and be collected by Vorovsky. On the opposite side to us here at an ever-increasing nervy Cardiff City Stadium. It's floated into the penalty area, and Darlow claims the flag was up anyway, but the Wales keeper has the ball.
Yeah, just watching Ali Aliyev, the Kazakhstan manager, not happy with that cross into the ball. That ball into the box, sorry. Cross too straight, easy for goalkeeper. Just plucking cherries, that. Too easy.
And the two number 9s are waiting to come on. There's a Kazakhstan change coming too. In the meantime, James races into the box, just about keeps it in under duress on that byline, but Kazakhstan can clear. A little over 5 minutes remaining. How are your nerves if you're listening to us here on BBC Radio Wales, wherever that is? They're all stood up in the Canton stand behind the goal to our left, and here comes the Wales change. Dan James, who started off the scoring in the 9th minute, is replaced to a standing ovation. He leaves the field on the opposite side to us. Ravi Matondo comes on for his first cap under Craig Bellamy, and Islam Chesnikov is off, and Galamzan Ken's Hebek of Kosic in Slovakia comes on, and the attendance you may hear on the PA system in the background is 32,473. That beats the number from the last match here. And in fact, it's the first crowd they've had here, over 30,000 for a men's match since the Euro 2024 playoff final against Poland 12 months ago. 4 minutes remain, plus stoppage time. Wales leading.
I think that shows what Craig Bellamy's doing with the team. He's getting people interested and back in the ground. you know, because with all due respect, Kazakhstan's not necessarily the biggest pool in terms of opponent. So I think it goes to show that the fan base has really bought into what Craig Bellamy's trying to do here.
They've got to hang on to this lead. And Sheehan looked like he'd given it away. The referee blows for a foul as the midfielder just clipped him on the Achilles, and Dan James has made the long walk around the pitch behind the goal to the left, reaches the Wales dugout and is applauded by those supporters around us. 3 minutes remain. Still just the one goal between these two sides here on BBC Radio Wales. Davis on the halfway line. Roberts is charged down, flies back downfield into the Wales half of the field. It goes over the whitewash for a throw-in. Long throw down the line. Cullen can't keep it in, as the home fans find their voice to try and help their team over the line here on the first match day of qualifying for the World Cup in 2026. First touch for Matondo, it breaks for him, he gets in the way of the referee. Surely he has to stop the game, that's the rules. He allows play on. Wales still in possession. Sheehan in the centre circle. Can they see this game out? Can they add to their lead? Or will there be a sting in the tail? It's in the centre circle. The red shirts in possession. And Kazakhstan happy to let them have it, and then they'll try and pinch it. Satpayev causing Nico Williams a problem. Every time he's been involved in the ball, he looks like an absolute snip, even more and more for Chelsea. What a talent he could be.
Good scouting, good recruitment. Did I tell you I almost signed for Astana one time?
You did?
Yeah, not as a player, as a coach.
They've got a nice ground over there.
A beautiful city. Had talks out in Odessa in Ukraine.
And that is where Wales will play this reverse fixture in September. It'll be a long old trip.
It is beautiful. Absolutely.
It's almost like a sort of mini UAE,
Dubai,
isn't it?
Yeah.
Final minute of normal time.
Why didn't you go?
The manager couldn't agree terms.
Fair enough.
So it had nothing to do with the fact that Astana is the second coldest national capital in the world.
No, it had everything to do with the amount of money they were going to pay.
Well, I knew the answer to that. I just needed you to say it. That's Nathan Blake, who's buying the drinks later. And we're about to head to the final 20 seconds. I'll have champagne and a bit of caviar as well. Thanks, Nate. Wales still lead 2-1. The fourth official has the all-important board for added time, and Sorba Thomas has acres of space to run into on the far right flank. 3 red arrows making their way at the back post for the cross. It's Ravi Matondo! And he slides it home to give Wales the point. His first international goal is a crucial one. It gives Wales the victory on opening night in qualifying for the 2026 World Cup. Wales 3, Kazakhstan 1.
Jordan James, take a bow. That was a phenomenal pass out to Sorba Thomas on the right-hand side. It's what we've been missing tonight. And if that doesn't nail his place in the starting lineup on Tuesday night, then I don't know what will, because that was fantastic from him. He picks it up inside his own half, swings it out to Sorba Thomas. He takes a wonderful first touch, goes at his player, and he pulls back a fantastic cross. And you have to give Ravi Matondo credit. He holds his ground, and a lovely little finish into the corner. Brilliant for him.
Yeah, he knew it was a great ball when you hear the gasp from the crowd, right? I say, I've seen him play as a holding midfielder. I've seen him play. I didn't think he could play higher up in the line. I've seen him play higher up in the line in Craig's first couple of games. He was fantastic. And I just think he's got that midfield ability, whether you want to play him as a 6, an 8, or even a 10. Like I say, no one passes the ball forward more than him. He's a cracking player.
He is, and for those obviously listening that don't have the pictures, it was a pass that reminded me a lot of the one Morgan Gibbs-White gave out to Callum Hudson-Odoi for Nottingham Forest in recent weeks.
Yeah.
Fantastic pass, similar sort of area of the pitch, and yeah, same result, ends in a goal, and great for Ravi Matondo as well. He's been out of the squad for a long time, but he took that chance really, really well.
And in all that excitement, 3 minutes of added time. Wales 3, Kazakhstan 1. The job is done. They've been made to work very hard for it, harder than they would have liked.
Yeah,
but 3 points is 3 points.
That goal by Matondo, slightly behind him, he just adjusted his feet really well and made it look so easy. Brilliant finish.
But that was what we wanted from Liam Cullen, that sort of driven finish, rather than getting your side foot and your body leaning back.
Yeah.
Just sort of drove it, and if it's along the floor from that sort of range, you're making the job for the goalkeeper really difficult, and yeah, finds its way into the back of the net. Delighted for him.
Now, Kazakhstan aren't finished yet, though. They've got a corner, and that small section of supporters are on their feet, waving their flags. In it comes towards the near post, headed up and into the sky and behind the goal for a goal kick. And that makes 30 seconds left of my watch as the goal went in right on the stroke of 90. There'll probably be a bit of added time at the end of added time. But the points are definitely staying here in Wales. And all roads then will lead to Skopje and Macedonia on Tuesday night. Another game that we will bring you live here on BBC Radio Wales. Your team for Welsh sport. Goal kick to Wales. Carl Darlow will take his time. The 3 minutes are up. The final whistle is blown. It is a perfect start to qualifying for the 2026 World Cup. Craig Bellamy continues his unbeaten start to life as a Wales manager. It wasn't quite as convincing as we'd hoped, but they got there in the end. And Ravi Matondo, with his first international goal, draws the hugs and handshakes from his teammates. A win and 3 points. It is job done for Bellamy's men in red on night one. It finishes here at the Cardiff City Stadium. Wales 3, Kazakhstan 1.
And as Craig Bellamy strides out onto the field to shake the hands of the ref and his assistants, he looks quite a relieved man, I think, overall, that Wales have got the job done here tonight. As Mark says, not exactly straightforward, but in the end, a 2-goal margin of victory for Wales. Ben Davies with the second half goal to re-establish Wales' lead, and then Ravi Matondo, and his first Wales goal. He's waited 7 years for that moment. 2018, his debut, and he gets that goal on his 13th appearance for the senior national side. All of the players at the moment inside or just on the edge of the centre circle, shaking hands with each other as the Kazakhstan players go over to the corner to the small band of travelling supporters, a couple of hundred who've made the trip over to South Wales to see their team here tonight. They made a good fist of it, did the visiting side, certainly during that first half when it was all square, but it is Wales who get that win and a joint top of Group J after one match. North Macedonia lead after a 3-0 victory over Liechtenstein earlier on, so they're top on goal difference, but Wales just a single goal behind them, also on 3 points in second place. And they're all still there in the centre circle, and I'd imagine, Helen Ward, they will be feeling, I don't know, what would you think after that? A degree of relief, happiness to have scored 3 goals and to have got the points on the board, but relief, do you think, overall, in the context of the game?
A little. I think, you know, at 2-1 with 5 minutes to go, Kazakhstan started to try and put a little bit of pressure on, but I think these games are always tricky, and you can get carried away with what the scoreline should or shouldn't be. But for Craig Bellamy, it's 3 points in the opening game of a World Cup qualifying campaign, and that's exactly what he'd want. And I think he'll look at parts of the game. The start to either half was very good again. He just still needs to work on that development of a 90-minute performance from his team. But it is a young team in many respects, and a lot of players coming back into the fold that maybe have been left out for a while, and that takes time to become the finished article if you ever get that in football. I don't suppose you do, but you know, there's lots to be positive about, but certainly lots to be wary of and things to improve on. because you come up against a slightly better opposition and you could potentially be punished on 1 or 2 occasions. So lots to think about for sure, both positive and not so positive. So 3 points in the bag, perfect start.
And 7 games unbeaten as the Wales head coach for Craig Bellamy, who's just blown some kisses to someone in the crowd. He's about 15-20 metres behind his players who are doing a bit of a lap of the fields. And the old Andy Williams classic plays over the tannoy. The familiar song from your era, Nathan Blake, wasn't it? This one. Always used to hear it at the Millennium Stadium. But a night, and we talk about the crowd as well. What, 32,000 here tonight, 32,473. I was actually looking at the last time that Wales played Macedonia. We'll come on to them in a moment, and that was 2014 World Cup campaign, and there were only 11,000 here that night. But it shows, doesn't it, how this Wales team really are reconnecting, if ever that was lost. But it just shows you at the moment just the love between the fans and the team and the excitement about what could be in store.
The thing is, Ian, they've always known, the Welsh FA have always known, since they went to the Millennium Stadium in my era, when they were getting 80,000, you can get 35,000 in this stadium, no problem. And I think since 2016, Chris Coleman and his team, what they went on to achieve at the Euros is just reignited football in Wales. And even at their worst over the last 4 or 5 years, whatever game there's been, you've come here and it's generally a full stadium, maybe 30,000, 28,000, but it's generally been a full stadium. And when it really matters, the place is bouncing. So, a game like tonight against Kazakhstan, which you're expected to win, like Helen made the point earlier, it'd be easy to come and say have like 28,000 here, 15,000, whatever, but they've packed the stadium and they've seen their team win 3-1, so it just continues that progress that they've made.
It does. Lots of happy youngsters in front of us here who've seen their heroes win by 3-1, and lots of smiles on faces as Wales now go down the tunnel, led by a clapping Ben Davies. Let's bring you some reaction then as Craig Bellamy keeps waving at somebody in the crowd. Big smile on his face as well. Let's hear from the man who opened the scoring. Feels like a long time ago now, Dan James. Here he is with Alex Richards.
Dan, congratulations, the perfect way to kick off this campaign with a win.
Thank you. Yeah, we spoke all week about getting off to a good start, and yeah, that's what we did tonight.
Another Wales goal for yourself as well. How happy are you with that?
Yeah, delighted. It's always nice to get on the score sheet. I think we were a bit unfortunate with the pen, but we stuck in there. For the second half, we come out, we scored a great set piece. In the international football, set piece is so important. It's something that we've really been practicing on it, and it paid off. And then to control the game a little bit more, picked them up in the right moments, and we got the third, and then great win tonight.
Yeah, I think we were all thinking at the beginning of that second half, what did Craig Bellamy say to you in that change room at half time? Because you came out of the box flying at the beginning of that second half.
Yeah, keep digging in. I think first half it was just about moments, maybe we didn't control it as much as we wanted to, rushed moments, but I thought second half we controlled moments a lot more to get the set piece and then settle back into the second half and just push on from there really. I thought we broke them down really well. It was tough with them five at the back. They had a great counter-attack, but we thought we controlled it really well, and then we pushed on to get that third goal. As I said, it was so important to get this win tonight, and all on to Tuesday now.
Yeah, you mentioned that third goal, Rabbi Matondi, a special moment for him tonight, getting his first international goal. Yeah,
delighted for Rabbi. He's a great player, he's a great lad, and everyone's buzzing for him.
A quick turnaround now to North Macedonia. How do you make sure you carry the momentum from tonight's win into that game on Tuesday night?
We've got to take, we've got a lot of positives after tonight. It's going to be a really tough game Tuesday going there, but it's one, that we're really looking forward to.
Dan, well done tonight. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, 7:45 kick-off in Skopje on Tuesday night for North Macedonia against Wales. Live here on Radio Wales and BBC Sounds. Dan James then getting his 8th Wales goal, his 11th of the season for club and country. He's having a fantastic season, isn't he, with Leeds, and taking that form into tonight to score for his country. More reaction to come then before 10 o'clock when we leave you, and Adam Walton takes over on Radio Wales and Sounds. But we talked before the game, Helen, didn't we, about who might be the key men for Wales, especially in the absence of Harry Wilson. At the moment you are thinking Dan has got to be the man again for Wales, and he was tonight. Did he? How did you assess how he did overall?
I thought he did well in spells. He obviously started the game really fast and looked a massive threat down the right-hand side. I thought he slowed a little bit towards the end of that first half. He took his goal, you know, pretty well. It was a little bit of a fortunate deflection, but you got to be in it to win it, as they say. He had the shot and he was in the right place. Again, I thought in the second half he had some moments where he's really gone at his full-back and caused them problems. I think potentially his crossing let him down at times, but he's certainly an outlet for Wales, and that's something that they've got to utilise. That pace he's got is absolutely frightening, as we know, but certainly loads to be happy about from his performance this evening. I don't think he's ever going to be the sort of player that puts in a fully rounded 90 minutes. He comes in and out of games at times, but yeah, certainly he'll be pleased, and obviously to get that goal is fantastic for him.
I think you both thought that Wales looked better when Jordan James came on at half-time. They thought should have started the game.
I mean, listen, they're managers their decisions for the manager. You know, well, different people see different things, right? I think he's the most creative and best midfielder we've got when Aaron Ramsey isn't there, right? I think he's proven that. Like I said in commentary, he can play as a 6 in the holding. He's very disciplined. He can play as an 8, box to box, and I think he can play as a 10 because, like I said, he passes the ball forward more than any other midfielder. And for a striker, it's critical sometimes. You know, it's easy to receive the ball, you know, and always rely upon going wide to your left back or wide to your right back or back to your centre half. The difficult thing is sometimes is that playing that one round the corner and going again. I think that's where Wales can improve on tonight's performance, is that when the game is slow like that change of pace often comes from that central midfielder playing into the striker or playing it wide and going again, playing at the striker, receiving it, and either playing another little through ball or getting the shot off. And I think that's where Wales were just lacking a bit tonight.
And the vision to find Sorba Thomas over on that wing. Great ball out there, and Thomas did well as well.
Yeah.
And the finish by Matondo, you said the ball was, you know, it was just slightly behind him, but as he sees that coming in, that's a dream ball to see spinning across the grass. He's unmarked, he's in a great position, and it was a great finish. Yeah, it was a wonderful finish. Yeah, you're right, Ian. And it was slightly behind him, but he's that quick. He's got those dancing feet, right? He was able to just adjust his feet almost where we didn't recognise it. As a striker, you see those little changes of pace, and he's just. If you look at his body shape, he was leaning right over the ball, so you know, almost like you're going to fall over your feet, leaning right over the ball, connected with it. And Helen said in the first half about a finish where, you know, they've gone with the side foot, they could have gone with the laces, and Rabi's gone with the laces, but he's not trying to strike through the ball. He's just let the pace on the ball do the work. He's just connected with it, nice and sweet. Beautiful finish, really good goal, great goal. He loves celebrating as well, didn't he, in front of the Canton end, the man who has been sort of in and out of the Wales squad really since he made his debut in 2018, but a sweet moment for him. And he said yesterday, Craig Bellamy, that I think somebody asked him whether he was picking a team with North Macedonia in mind, and he sort of said, no, not really, you know, we're just picking a team who we think fit the profile of the opponents we're playing this evening, right? So Kazakhstan. Well, he does that. Yeah, so you take him at his word on that. Absolutely, I think he's proven that at every game. He's picking a team based on what the opponent's got to offer, rather than saying, I'm going to pick a team, stick with it, and this is how we're going to play and what we're going to do game in, game out. And I think that fluidity is, you know, well, they haven't lost 7 games. You know, you can't argue with it. I think he's too smart to try and rest players and take it, you know, take for granted. I've said that a few times. He's not taking any game for granted. He knows he's got to put a team out there to do a job, regardless of the opposition. He knows what he needs from his team and which players are going to give the best attributes for that. I don't think he's silly enough to rest players or save anybody's legs. You know, unless you find yourself 5-6-0 up at half-time, you don't do that at this level. And you know, I think his decisions proved right. Going back to Jordan James, you could argue that he should have started, but hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? So I think we see him in the starting lineup on Tuesday, but I don't think his decision to leave him out tonight was based on that, you know, happening
in advance.
Because the easy thing to say from people like us and obviously fans is quite a lot, isn't it? You say it in football, you say it in rugby. Does a head coach know his best team? And it's an easy thing to say, right? When he's got so many options. But do you think Craig Bellamy knows his best team, or is there no such thing as a best team that you're always going to go with?
I don't think there is. I mean, if you've got a slow centre half and you're playing up against someone who's a flyer, and you've got an athletic centre half who's been on the bench, you're going to play him, right? It's as simple as that, or you should play him. Otherwise, you'll probably get exposed. So
there's a best team for a particular game, but
absolutely.
There's not a best team that fits every game. There might be an 11 that suits more games than others, but certainly not a best team that's going to cover every game.
And you get positions like striker positions. I would say that's probably one of, if not the most important position, because putting the ball in the net is difficult. That number 9, if you look at England and Harry Kane, they've not got a number 9 that can come anywhere close to him, but they've got fantastic number 9s. Those number 9s could be used in different ways. If you look at Ollie Watkins compared to Harry Kane, totally different. But Ollie Watkins can't, prize Harry Kane out of that position because he's so brilliant at what he does. So I'm with Helen. I think we call it horses for courses, right?
And I think that's why he's blooding so many players as well, and bringing players into the squad that we haven't seen for a while or haven't been given that opportunity, because he recognises that he needs more than 11 starters. He knows that he needs more depth, and he's adding that depth all the time with the likes of Josh Sheehan, Liam Cullen, starting games that you never would have imagined they would in the past, but now he's adding to that squad depth, and what they can do might be better than what someone else can do in any given situation.
And Rabia Matondo's been out in the cold for so long, right?
Precisely.
But there are certain non-negotiables, aren't there? I suppose players who will always be picked. I mean,
Roden.
Traditionally at the back, I was going to say Joe Roden, Connor Roberts, maybe the man with the magic mullet. Now.
Well, I also think Connor. I also think you can play Connor in a back 4 or a back 3 with 2 wing backs.
Same as Nico.
Yeah, but then I think you can play Nico Williams, and I think you've got the option of people like Sorba Thomas as well. You've got that, Helen's alluded to it there. What's happening is you're extending the sort of depth of the Welsh squad with players that in the past have had an opportunity or maybe not had enough of an opportunity and sort of died off or been forgotten about. They're now being brought back in, given playing minutes and given time, and allowed to sort of play well. And on the back of that, all it does is give Craig more and more options. So it's intelligent way of looking at things.
Well, to underline that, he's used 24 players, I've just been told, in his 7 games in charge. So he certainly is sort of going through the pack and using all of those at his disposal and trying to find new talent as well. And we should mention, Helen, another one of those sort of non-negotiables who always start if he's available, Ben Davies. That was a real captain's goal tonight, wasn't it, from him, up for a set piece, putting his head in where it hurts.
Yeah, and he's come close in recent games to getting that moment again. He doesn't score too many goals, but he's always up there. He's always putting his head there. His timing's good, and tonight it came off for him. But yeah, I think him, Ethan Ampadu when he's available, Joe Rodon, and probably Harry Wilson at the moment were those players that you would say no problem, absolutely going to start every game. Probably a couple of others as well, and you have to have that in a team because you can't consistently change 7, 8, 9 players every game. You can't do that. So, while we're saying that there's no best team, there are certain players that will be in every team if they're fit and available.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just look at Tuesday night then. Nathan, you're going to get your passport out and you're packing your bags. You're going to be in North Macedonia for us. Helen is stuck with me in the studio. Sorry, Helen. Bring the sweets, though. North Macedonia, 3-0 winners over Liechtenstein this afternoon. So they top the table, as we say, just ahead of Wales on goal difference. It is the first time that Wales have played them since that 2014 World Cup campaign. So we had a 1-0 win here at Cardiff City Stadium, as I say, in front of just 11,000 fans.
Yeah.
Had a 2-1 defeat in Macedonia, and you'll remember it was when Chris Coleman forgot his passport. So don't forget yours.
I'll try not to.
He missed the flight out, didn't he? If you remember, after losing his passport. But bit of a shake-up that, or a shock perhaps, that defeat. That was before Wales really hit the sweet spot.
Well, that's what happens when you go out the night before travelling.
Yes, indeed, interesting chapter. But how do we see this one then on Tuesday? I mean, traditionally you'd say this is a tricky one, and they've shown this afternoon North Macedonia that they could do something in this group.
Yeah, they've had some over the last 5-6 years. They've had some really impressive results. Again, I think people come to tonight's game expecting an absolute blowout, but it just doesn't happen like that. Now you're going into their country, and it's going to be a difficult night. If you come out with a result, a positive win, I don't even mean a draw, I mean a win. That's all that matters. The game really and truly should come down to the Belgium games. That's what most people are thinking. But as we've seen tonight, at home against Kazakhstan, extremely difficult. Going to North Macedonia isn't going to be easy. It's not a given. You've got to go there and try and get all 3 points. That is sort of like the minimum ask, because you look at the likes of Belgium, and you could say they will go there and win.
Wales go to Brussels in June. As you say, those are 2 mouth-watering games against very familiar foes, but Belgium maybe not the team they were sort of 8 to 10 years ago, Helen. A lot of people saying that at the moment. Chris Coleman said that to me in December. They're not the side that they were in 2016 when Wales faced them and, of course, beat them at the Euros. But in terms of what's in front of them on Tuesday night, can Wales make it 6 points from 6? Given the fact that Belgium don't start their campaign until June, this is a great opportunity for Wales to really, establish a good lead at the top of the table.
Yeah, and psychologically, I think, it's common knowledge that you'd rather be the team with the points on the board and letting everyone else try and play catch up with games in hand or what have you. So, yeah, I think Tuesday's going to be a big moment. You don't want to start the campaign with 3 points and then go and have a disappointing night on Tuesday. It's a tough turnaround. Saturday, Tuesday isn't easy with the travel involved as well. And I forget who it was, but North Macedonia had success getting to the Euros. Was it beating, I can't remember who, in a playoff unexpectedly perhaps? They've got a good side.
Yeah, they did.
And as you said, it's in their home country. It's not going to be easy for Wales, so they've got to really focus on their recovery tonight. Those players, as we're just seeing, doing some extra runs to make sure they're ready if they get their opportunity in the starting lineup, and they need to be ready and on it from the start again.
And when you say Belgium, Witsel, De Bruyne, Tielemans, Trossard, Mangala, they've not got a bad Lukaku. They're not bad still, mate.
They're still not bad. I take the point. Maybe not the force that they were, but they've got some.
They're all a bit
star
older.
name.
They're all a bit
older and wiser.
Older and wiser.
Aren't we all? Well, some of us at least. I know you're going over to the iPlayer. More reaction on the TV after Match of the Day. Wales was on live earlier on. You can watch that on the iPlayer. You can watch that game back on the iPlayer if you want. And thank you very much to Helen Ward. More reaction as well on the BBC Sport Wales website. And we will be back on Tuesday night from 7 for North Macedonia against Wales, whatever that might bring. The first flight for Craig Bellamy's men on this World Cup journey. Not exactly an easy ride tonight, but they've got the job done. Adam Walton is up next on BBC Radio Wales with BBC Introducing. Thank you for your company this evening from all of us at the Cardiff City Stadium. Good night.